Bro, why are they flaming you in the chat again? Jesus Christ. Seth Rollins is
They
crazy.
love tip riding, bro. As soon as we start, crazy work.
Bro, you don't even do that most of the time. I ain't gonna lie.
Just be existing, and they're like, all right, let's bother Mo and fuck up his day.
The chat always flaming Mo for something. I don't know what you did something wrong, bro.
Breathing. That's the problem.
You did something. You did something. All right, everybody, welcome back to the No Name Wrestling Podcast. Again, another episode here. We do have some guests today who I'm going to allow to introduce themselves. Some people who are new on the channel, first timers on the channel. I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll dive into some conversations we're going to have. So shout out to G, Lewis, Jade, Nate. I don't think they're going to be here today, not necessarily. So Mo might have to. You might have to hold that over their heads, bro. If they're not here today, it's just you and me, bro. So
Word.
they always counting on you being late. Oh, Jay's never mind, bro. Spoke too soon.
Oh, there's a guy. Is
Spoke too soon.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good, bro. You're good, bro. So I'm gonna let the guests introduce themselves. We'll just go in order. So Jay, we'll start with you. Haven, you'll go afterwards. Minx, and you've been heard before. Ryan, you've been heard before. But I'll let you guys can introduce yourselves, plug in your socials, whatever you want people to follow you and stuff like that, and then we'll dive into some
And
comments.
by the way, even though I'm late, it's still Mo's fault.
It is. Facts.
Okay. Well, my name is Jayla, Jack the Ripper TV on all socials. I'm WWE content creator, video games, anime, pop culture, pretty much what you can think of. Jack the Ripper TV on all social platforms. And thank you for inviting me.
No problem. No problem.
I'm Haven Rain. I also make WWE content. I also talk about AEW. Haven Rain on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Twitch. I stream wrestling watch parties Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Twitch and TikTok. So yeah. Thank you for having me.
One of the few people that like that Death Rider story. I know that for sure.
Listen, I stand beside them.
Yeah, you're loyal. I tell you that. You're loyal.
I am.
Go ahead, Minx.
I'm Minx. I actually like the Death Rider too. But you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Those are really the only two socials that I'm active on. I also have links to my art pages I draw. You can buy print stickers, anything like that. Right now I've been doing a lot of wrestling. Been doing a lot of wrestling fan art. And then on my Instagram and TikTok I live stream, model, stuff like that.
Yeah, the art you be doing pretty. I've seen some of that. Some of the wrestlers don't share that stuff on their stories too. So I've seen a couple of them. Ryan, I'll let you go, and then we'll just dive into the comments.
Tay's calling for Do-Rag Jay. We haven't even started yet. Tay, calm down.
Actually, that was the first episode. Do-Rag Jay was the first one I was on.
You were on the first Do-Rag Jade, Ryan.
Oh, were you on the first one?
It was the quiz episode 2. That was the first. That was the first Do-Rag.
Wow. OG episode, man.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm Ryan from North South Connection. Check out our YouTube. Each pay-per-view season, we do one match per release. I have Malik on for WrestleMania season, so I'll be doing those this week as well. So check out our new YouTube. We need the subs.
Do-Rag Jay, man. You haven't brought you bring it out occasionally.
Occasionally. If it normally G has to be here.
Yeah, because G's takes can be a little wild sometimes. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I mean, everybody's going after Mo again, so
damn Mo.
Yeah, Josiah knows what's up. Josiah knows what's up.
Yeah. I don't remember how we started coming after him. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it started.
He was just legitimately late one day about a year ago, and then ever since then it's just
that ass a year.
Whether he's late or not, he's still.
So they've been continuing. So we can talk some current things because I don't think everybody here watches AEW, but we can dive into some of that stuff too later on if you guys want. But we'll just dive into a lot of current things. I don't know a lot of people's history with past stuff, so we'll just dive into a lot of current stuff. Everything going on right now. One thing I want to ask everybody, and then we can start with the ladies. We'll let the ladies go first. I wanted to ask John Cena as heel champion. How's everybody feeling about it right now? Are you thumbs up, thumbs down?
I love it.
So far, this as of right now. I mean, it's only been coming up on a month, a little bit at least, a little bit of a month. So it's only been a few weeks. So he hasn't had his first title defense. But just based off of, I guess we'll start with the heel turn and then after the stuff happened at WrestleMania. So leading into Mania and then afterwards, how does everybody feel about it now? So Jay, I'll let you go first.
I mean, honestly, I feel like he's standing on business. He's been doing what he said that he was going to do. He's going to ruin wrestling. and I feel like he's pretty much living up to that. I honestly feel like this upcoming match with Randy is going to be. I feel like everyone's going to have high expectations for it. I feel like it's going to be a quickie, honestly. But I mean, overall, I don't have an issue with his entire little Hill championship run yet. I don't have an issue with it.
So did you like it originally, like leading into WrestleMania, like when he did turn heel, or are you kind of
Yes.
skeptical about it?
Yes.
Okay, so you've liked the entire thing. You don't have no issues with.
I really don't have any issues with any. He hasn't lied once.
So what about the match at WrestleMania? How did you feel about it? Like the outcome and
I didn't. Okay, I didn't like how he won it, but I didn't like how he won it, but he still deserved it. Like it's John Cena.
so you just don't like how he won it, but I mean, as long as he won it, then that's all that's.
As long as he won it, I was fine. I was a happy camper.
Okay. Haven, what about you?
I thought the build was decent. I did want them to fight a little bit more, but I was excited for the match. And then the end happened, and I think Travis Scott being there ruined it for me personally.
Yes, ma'am.
Not
just
even
you.
even the build, it just felt something felt off because Cena kind of more focused on the fans than he did Cody up until like that last interaction or so.
Yeah.
And his heel run so far, can't really tell, but I'm not excited about it anymore. I have no faith in him and Randy giving us a banger. I think the match will be just okay, but I know what to expect, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. If people have watched past Orton Cena matches, I mean, I think kind of people know the expectations. They've had some classics, but like they've wrestled so much, it's kind of like I don't know what they could do that they haven't done, in a match that I've already seen.
You also have to remember their age and their stamina. Guy, if you're expecting to watch this and see Breaking Point 09, you need to temper your expectations a little bit. That's all I'm saying, because just if you temper your expectations, the match is probably going to be decent, good to good. But if you go in expecting SummerSlam 07, I got bad news for you. It's not going to happen.
Minx, what about you?
Okay. So I understand the whole they're older, we're not going to have the craziest 5, 6, 7-star match expectations for them, right? I get that. At the same time, we're talking about WrestleMania, right? We're talking about a WrestleMania main event for the main title. For that to be the best that they were able to deliver, I don't know. I feel like people are letting WWE slide on giving them some absolute garbage and just a little bit too much. I feel like people are letting the storyline of, he's going to destroy wrestling. So, of course, he gave you a bad match. I think people are taking some of this stuff a little bit too literal, and to the point where, like, we're really going to let them slide with giving them that type of WrestleMania main event. That was one of the worst WrestleMania main events I think I've ever seen. I just think even when you,
I'm so happy someone agreed with me. Sorry.
No,
go ahead.
I think even when you take into account the storyline and you take into account their ages, you're talking about Cody Rhodes and John Cena. They're supposed to be legends in the industry. They're supposed to be two of the best ever. Same thing with Cena and Orton. Cena and Orton at Backlash should at least it should be a 3-star match. It don't have to be no 5-star classic. I understand that these men are in their mid-40s going on 50. I get that. So sure, give them some graces for that. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair to just be like, well, the storyline is that we're giving you garbage, so here's the garbage, now enjoy it. If the storyline is that you're giving me garbage, why am I watching this? I'm just going to turn my channel. And I'm a person who personally defended this heel turn from the start, was like really interested in it, and it was like, all right, this is cool. You're telling me The Rock can't even show back up to be a part of the storyline that he helped start? He can't even do the bare minimum of just show up at WrestleMania. You had to have it be Travis Scott. Like, I understand we're going to let them slide on certain things, but at the same time, I just felt like they have been giving us so little that it's almost insulting.
Yeah,
I agree.
We said, I think it was last week, like I think The Rock not showing up puts a big, huge hole in that main event. Like if Travis Scott hadn't showed up, I don't think people would have been so, or at least too upset The Rock wasn't there. Like if neither had showed up, but like when he showed up and then The Rock didn't, we were all kind of expecting that, you know what I mean? So like when he showed up and he wasn't there, it was kind of like, all right, like that was a perfect time because it would have all really made sense. Like if they had screwed Cody out of the title based off the heel turn, that would have made sense, based off where the storyline was. And I think that's kind of what we were expecting. But when that didn't happen, it kind of felt weird. Like I don't know, it felt like something was missing. You know what I mean? Like I guess we were expecting more. Like damn, I was kind of expecting more, and maybe that could be a little bit of a detriment to us sometimes because our expectations could be so high, especially when you start to fantasy book a lot of things. Like, oh, these are things that could happen, and then when none of that happens, it kind of feels weird. But this is one of those scenarios where it's like people had been, I guess, shitting on The Rock for showing up a lot and doing certain things. But this was like the one time I guess you wanted him to show up or like expecting it. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, it makes sense. Like we're expecting it and then you don't. And then it was kind of like, oh man, go ahead, Mo.
So after last week's podcast, there were a couple people in the comments immediately trying to defend The Rock after I started to tear him into shreds last week.
Why did Mo go from the townhouse to the basement? Sorry, Mo. Go ahead.
He's at work right now.
You went from Jay-Z's upscale townhouse to the never mind. Go ahead. You're distracting sometimes. Is all, Mo. Go ahead.
I hate you. Anyway, but there's people trying to compare us complaining about what he did last year to what happened this year. So let me explain it to the bots that watch the show. Chat, I love y'all, but sometimes y'all be stupid. So the difference between the two is last year, when Cody won the Rumble, Rock should have stepped out. You don't just get to step in just because you want to. That don't make no sense. He inserted himself into a storyline that didn't call for him at that point. This year, he initiated the storyline and then didn't want to show up because he don't want to steal the spotlight. That's our problem. Yeah, I didn't think it would be a difficult concept for y'all to grasp, but
there's a broader point here, Mo, and I don't want to derail because I know Ryan needs to get in on this particular Cena topic, but the Cena stuff bleeds into a broader point that I've been thinking about ever since last week we did the podcast, and it's been bugging me. Right before WrestleMania, Triple H did that interview. I forget who it was with, but he did that interview, right? And he spent half the interview complaining about us complaining, right? Saying basically told us if you guys don't like it, don't watch. And you know what that felt like? It felt like the 10 to 15 years of wrestling that we had to put up with before Triple H took over. We spent 10 to 15 years watching WWE. And you know what it felt like watching wrestling during that time? It felt like you had the TV in front of you and someone was just sitting here like this. And you had to just peer around that middle finger to watch the wrestling. Vince McMahon had his middle finger in our faces for so long. And you think about all the things that we were getting pissed about, even in the last couple of years, because I was active on TikTok 2021 to 2023. All the things that we were pissed about with Vince McMahon before Triple H took over. Ignoring the women's division. Guess what's happening now? Unfair releases due to budget cuts in record financial years. Guess what's happening now? Bullshit storyline main events that have nothing to do with what happened before or after. Guess what's happening now? Triple H has a lot of goodwill that he built up in his first couple of years, but in my opinion, that goodwill starting to run really thin. And I'm starting to get really annoyed with the way that Triple H is managing everything. The women didn't get a fair shot at WrestleMania. It's not fair to Braun Strowman or Dakota Kai to feature them as heavily on television as you were for several weeks and then suddenly decide you got nothing for them and then cut them loose. That's complete and utter horseshit. You introduced mid-card titles to appease the female fans and then didn't even bother using them at WrestleMania, quite frankly. And now we have John Cena, just to get back to the point. The best part of this heel run was before Mania, and then ever since Mania, it's all gone downhill. The act that he's pulling with addressing people in the crowd, even though he has his moments where it's still funny, is getting really, really stale. He seems to only have 2 or 3 things that he says every week, and then he ends the promo segment on his back after taking the other person's finisher. It's getting a little bit predictable. So whatever happens at Backlash, whether it's a 1, 2, or 3-star match, A, if Travis Scott shows up, I might blow my brains out. And B, just please take that middle finger out of my face for one night because I'm starting to get really sick of it. I'll get off my pulpit now. I've had that on my mind all week. I've been really annoyed with Triple H, both on screen and off lately. So that's my feedback on it.
And I gotta agree real quick. Like you just said about the promos, I've talked to so many of my friends about that, and people excusing it. They're like, "Well, of course he's just gonna come and give promos. That's fine, but they have to at least be good promos." It's
Or different.
literally been him saying the same thing, and then like you said, Cody hits the crossroads or RKO or whatever it is, and it's just I'm like, this is the same promo every single time he comes out.
Yep.
And it's like that you're giving us nothing. It's just
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Ryan.
All right, when I saw the topic of the current day champions or whatever, this one, the WWE Cena, was kind of the hardest one for me to kind of take a look at and dissect. Of course, he elicits a great response, and the Mania main event, I agree, was rather disappointing and borderline shit, especially the finish. But I don't know. I'm afraid that he's using the "Let Me Ruin Wrestling" as a deodorant to be like shitty in ring and have shitty finishes and really honestly have lazy match structure that hurts the overall historical aspect of winning 17. And honestly, I'm not a Cody crybaby. I'm a little bit indifferent to him, but for Cody to take the belt to Roman and then to have Cena win it off Cody in that fashion, that's just lame. And I think it historically will kind of put a little tread in that road right there. But I don't know. They're going to have the crowd initially in St. Louis for Backlash. They're going to have the investment. The crowd's going to be hot off of everything. Just 5, 6, 7 minutes in, where are we? That's my concern. And then I hope that they don't use whatever bullshit they're going on to kind of dilute the finish and so on and so forth. I don't know. It's just kind of lazy. I hope it doesn't continue that way.
That's the big word, Ryan. That encapsulates everything that me and Minx were just saying. Lazy. Everything with the Cena heel turn from the moment it happened has just felt like they didn't put a second thought into. It's like they just said, "All right, yeah, great, let's do the heel turn," and then after that they're like, "All right, what do we do next?" And everyone in the room was like, "I don't know." That's what it feels lazy and it feels half cocked. I almost would have preferred if they hadn't done it at this point because the follow up to it has been so disappointing. But yeah, lazy. That's a good word for it.
But he elicits so much reaction still. He always has. And he still gets the big pop and he still gets the big heat. But it's just when it matters and the chips are down, what are we going to get? That's kind of where I'm at.
And I think that's sorry.
Good.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick. I think that's part of the problem. I think that partially they're thinking like, hey, well, we got Cena showing up or we have The Rock somewhat involved and we gave the people what they wanted to see. And it kind of feels like they're just coasting off the fact that these are big names. And that's enough. Well, we gave them the 17th title run. Hey, he won. That's good. I actually think that's great that he won the 17th. And that was the right way to move after that heel turn. But there still has to be stuff in between to keep us interested. And I feel like they said, okay, he's going to turn heel and then he's going to win at Mania. But what about the big gap of everything else happening in between? It was like they just didn't think of anything to do for any of that time.
Yeah, John Cena's also one of those legends now where he doesn't have to do the bare minimum to get a reaction. He can come out and fucking fart in the microphone and people would go crazy. Like, he don't have to do much. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get a reaction no matter what he does. Before the heel turn, I was on the fence where it was like, for me, I was like, I don't know if he really needs to. Like, I never really felt he needed to at this stage in his career. I felt like for me, if he was going to do it, it would have been better like 10, 15 years ago at his peak, at his prime. So to see how it turns out now, the way I'm looking at it, the stuff has been repetitive, as most of you guys have said and everything. And I just feel like we're at a point now where people I don't think they want to hate John Cena anymore. Like, they know he's on his way out. They respect him. He's a legend now. Even for the people who may not have been Cena fans, I think he has the respect. You know what I mean? So now that he's leaving, it's different. You know what I mean? And I think people genuinely they don't want to hate him. Like, it was working in the beginning, but as Mania started to come closer and closer, Cody started to get booed. You know what I mean? Going into that, it was like, I don't even think it's because they hate Cody. I think it's because majority of the people wanted Cena to win, and probably majority of the people grew up on John Cena, so they knew, like, this is going to be his last Mania. They're more excited for him because that was like their guy growing up. That was their childhood hero. Now that we're adults now, we want to see it just happen just one more time, before it really ends. So for Cody, I don't know necessarily because they didn't like Cody anymore, because he got cheered pretty much through the entire reign, all the way up until that WrestleMania, week and everything. So I think it's just one of those type of scenarios where they just kind of picked Cena in that moment just because they knew it would be the last time. And if he lost, honestly, he probably wouldn't get another shot at it. You know, like it would probably be the last time he got it. So, you know, it feels a little repetitive, but I feel like it also feels for me. It's just I'm looking at the crowd reactions. I'm looking at it every week. I just don't think people want to hate John Cena. Like he could do the most heelish thing, and people I don't think would hate it. He could put a child in the STF, and I think people would cheer for it. You know, like I don't think there's anything.
Well, he's
I don't
also
think there's
not.
anything you can do to make them hate, like legitimately hate him.
He's also not coming there and doing anything to make anybody hate him. He's just getting on the microphone every time and saying, "Hey guys, I'm a heel, hate me." And that's how it feels. It's like, "Hey, you're supposed to hate me. I'm the heel. I'm breaking up with you. I don't like you guys. Even if you chant, let's go Cena, I still don't like you." And people are like, "Okay, I'm still happy to see John Cena for his last run. This is awesome. You're the champion for your last run. You got 17. Yay!" Like
it would be
am I
different.
supposed to
Like,
hate?
at his peak, if he had come out and because a lot of the main reasons a lot of people didn't like him at his peak was because he won a lot of matches, right? He won a lot of matches, a lot of championships. If they would have used that to his advantage at his peak, I think that would have worked. If he would have came out and said, "I'm gonna bury everybody. I'm gonna beat everybody. All your favorites, people that you think are gonna be higher than me, ones you want to see get pushed, I'm gonna beat them all." But now it's like at this stage in his career, it's just I don't know. It isn't. I don't know if it doesn't feel authentic or it doesn't feel natural.
You guys might remember I pitched an idea right after the heel turn. The more I think about it, the more I just can't understand why they haven't done it yet. You guys remember I pitched the idea for John Cena to just randomly attack R-Truth backstage and then drag him out to the ring, lock him in the SDF, and then hold him there, even through a commercial break. Have him put R-Truth in the freaking thing, go to commercial, come back. He's still got R-Truth in the SDF. R-Truth is one of the most loved guys on the roster right now. And if they had built for a couple of weeks with R-Truth coming to John Cena, all excited, wearing the shirts, and Cena just blows them off, and then one Raw, he takes like last Monday would have been the perfect opportunity. He takes the RKO from Orton. He's walking around pissed off backstage. R-Truth comes up to him to get an autograph or something stupid that R-Truth would do. And then Cena just mercilessly attacks him and then drags him out to the ring and puts him in the FTF in front of God and everybody. I think that's would definitely get the booze that they're looking for. But he just, again, he's not coming off as vicious or violent. He's coming off as, quite frankly, a bitch. Like, I'm sorry that we didn't cheer you all that time. Okay. And then
that's actually his goal, though.
And then the crowd even tried to play along, and then his response to it was okay, but I don't know. It's just, I think they need to do something vicious, and they need to do something to someone that is loved on the roster, an Otis and R-Truth, somebody. And I think that would elicit a different reaction. Right now, no one's scared of Cena. Cena's just the guy that everyone loves to hate and wants to laugh at. No one's scared of Cena because, again, he ends up on his back at the end of every promo. So, I don't know.
Question. Would have rather John do the pat instead of Gunther? Do you think that would have got it?
Cena attacking Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, yes, definitely would have gotten him the boost. But I think Gunther needed it. I like that Gunther's the one that did it because they were going to struggle to put heat back on Gunther after WrestleMania. So I think that's exactly what Gunther needed. But if that had been Cena instead of Gunther, yes, that would have been because Michael Cole is probably the third most loved guy in the company right now. So
and they have the connection too historically. Cole
exactly.
Yeah, they got the little connection there and stuff too.
And that's why the R-Truth thing makes so much sense to me is because even though there's never been a direct connection, there's a relation, right? Because R-Truth has been coming out on the mic and saying that Cena was his favorite wrestler growing up for 10 years. That's been a part of his character. It's stupid, but still. There's that thread that runs between R-Truth and Cena. So, yeah, I'm still waiting on it to happen. Still waiting on it.
This is kind of why it makes me believe that the rumors was true that Rock wanted Cody to turn, and then Triple H suggested, how about we do Cena instead? Because it feels like there was no real direction. Everyone can agree the Cena heel turn feels like it has no direction. So, maybe that was true. The Rock he kept pushing for Cody, and Triple H was just like, no. And he was like, okay, let's just give him Cena instead. Because that's the only thing that kind of makes sense in my mind. Because other than that, why did they do this?
I think what they should have done, looking at it in hindsight, I think if they wanted Cena to turn heel, I think it would have worked better if he had did it in the match against Cody. You build up babyface versus babyface. However you want to do it, Cena going to pass the torch, out of respect, right? And then because John Cena hasn't won a singles match up to that point in so long, He gives his best shot at Cody. He hit Cody with like 4 attitude adjustments at Mania. He kicked out of every single one. He put him in the STF multiple times. He kept escaping. Like Cena throwing his best shot, and then he becomes desperate, realizing this is my last shot to win the 17th world title. I haven't won a big match in this many years. And then like, if we all had watched the match and let's say he hit Cody with the low blow or something, like something out of the ordinary of a John Cena character, and he had won in heel fashion, I think people's jaws would have been on the floor like, holy shit. Like,
perfect example to support your point, Malik. Why was the Daniel Bryan heel turn in 2019 so 2018 so impactful? It's because he hadn't done anything heel-like at all leading up to that point. And even during the match, he wasn't working it as a heel. But then the referee goes down. He looks from ref to AJ, from ref to AJ, from ref to AJ, and then he hoofs him. And the crowd is like, what? And you're right. That's exactly how they should have done it. The Rock should have come out with the ref down, offered John Cena his belt or whatever. Cody turns him down, and then he turns around. Cena hoofs him. The crowd goes nuts. You're absolutely right. I think they missed a huge opportunity. If they were going to do the Rock Sell Your Soul thing, they should have stretched it out to WrestleMania and then had that resolve in the moment as a catalyst for Cena doing the heel turn. Yeah, you're right. That would have been better. Would have been a lot better.
So I'm going to give you guys a list of names of people who you think could beat John Cena, and you just can answer yes or no, like for ones that you approve of. Yes for ones that I would be okay with, no for people that I would not like to see beat John Cena. A variety of different names. I'm still in the belief it's going to be Cody Rhodes getting the title back from John Cena. I would agree. I don't see anybody else beating him. I'd be kind of shocked if it was anybody else, but I'll just throw out different suggestions, different names of people that you would maybe be okay with. Not ones that I'm saying that you think would, but if that person were to win it, you'd be like, all right, I can live with that.
I'm gonna base it on if there would be a good story leading to that happening is the only thing I'm gonna base this on, because there's such a limited amount of time and such limited opportunities for the story to make sense. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and I mean, however you want to base it off of, you could base it off of Cena putting somebody over to help propel them up, the storyline direction. I mean, whatever you feel is the correct method. So, Jayla, I'll start with Jayla, and then Haven will go after. So we'll just go in order. Everybody will just answer in order. You can give a little explanation if you want. You don't have to explain. You could just give a simple answer. So people that you think would be good options to beat John Cena. What about Randy Orton?
Yeah. No explanation. Just yes on that one.
I'm saying no. Absolutely not.
Oh, it's a definite no for you.
It definitely is. Definitely no.
Is there a reason you feel like he just doesn't need it?
I feel like, I mean, if they want to do it because of the history, I guess. I'd rather it be someone who can benefit from it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna say no for the reason that Jade gave. I don't think there would be a really super interesting story there.
I'd go slight no, but I would be open to a yes just to get off of this direction that they're going. And I think it'd be cool for Randy. I like Randy.
Okay.
No.
I'd be down for it if you told me that it meant John Cena snapping right after and leading to a more malicious John Cena that we're all needing right now. Outside of that, no.
Only reason I say no is because I feel like if Cena loses, they're gonna have to run it back, and I don't want to see this match again. Yeah. I barely want to see it now.
There you go.
What about CM Punk?
I don't think he has anything to gain from winning against John. Well, I'm indifferent on that one. I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't love it.
So kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes because I'm a CM Punk girl. That's really the only reason.
So
I'm biased.
It's biased, yeah. Whatever. It's cool for you.
I'm gonna say no because I actually love CM Punk too, but I think with CM Punk and Seth, they really only scratched the surface there. I don't feel like they did enough there yet since Punk has come back, and I think that they have a lot of chemistry together, and especially with what they're doing with Seth Heyman and Braun right now, I would definitely like to see how they could incorporate Punk into that.
Okay.
I would say yes, but not now. I would say if they face down the road, perhaps in like the fall or whatever. I feel that Punk is probably his best opponent, honestly. And they showed that they still have that chemistry and whatnot in the chamber when they touched it, was probably Cena's best work since being in there. So yeah, I would say yes later this year.
Okay. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, I'll say yeah. Cool with
Yes.
it. Just
So-
'cause I rock with Punk.
So I don't like CM Punk at all. I don't know if I've ever liked a person less. But the only reason I would say yes, and this is never going to happen because there's not enough time to build it. The only avenue through which I would say yes is if you were building to a Money in the Bank rematch, and then we got to relive that Money in the Bank build from 14 years ago, and that played into it and all that. If you told me they were going to fight at Money in the Bank, I'd say sure, why not? But because I know that's not going to happen because there's nowhere near enough time to do that, yeah, I'm going to say no.
I'll give a few more options. What about Roman Reigns?
Not from John. No.
I say absolutely not. I hate that more than Randy. I don't think Roman should get the title back until he's about to retire. So, no.
And fully agree with what do you pronounce it Heaven?
Oh, Haven.
Haven, fully agree with what Haven just said. We just saw him have a 4-year title run. Let's just wait until we really, really want to see Roman be champion again before we give him that title again. Wait until it feels more fresh and interesting. It doesn't feel like that for me now.
I'm going to say no. I don't think I'd hate it, but I just don't. It just doesn't feel right.
I say Roman Reigns never needs another world title reign.
Damn.
He peaked. He peaked.
Damn.
His run was amazing, but I
Never.
don't think he needs it again. Just tell good stories, Roman.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
He's already peaked.
And
What's he gonna do?
I'm saying no because I believe that would then lead to Roman versus Cody again. And if I have to see Roman versus Cody again, I might run my head through a wall. So no.
What? Whoa. I'm cool.
No. I'm done with Roman versus Cody. We've seen all we need to see. I'm done with that.
Banger.
But think about it, Mo. We literally named the main event of WrestleMania 40 through a tournament bracket that we did on this show as the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. So if you run back Cody versus Roman, how the hell do you top that? You don't. You can't do Cody versus Roman again. That's dumb.
I feel like I agree with Mo said. I feel like Roman never needs to be the champion again. Like his peak was so high. I don't know if he could ever duplicate or top that again. I'm not saying he can't win it again, but like if that was to be his last world championship reign, what a reign to have to end it off on.
Exactly.
Like, my God,
I don't think he needs it. I think he will, though. I think if I was a betting man,
he might.
G might put a parlay on that. That's all I'm saying. I think that's gonna happen.
I hope that fails, just because I hate you.
What about? Okay, so I'll get this one out there. What about Cody Rhodes?
No.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Wow.
One at a time. So you say no for Cody?
No, not out for John. No.
I'm torn.
I don't know who I want. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm torn. I like Cody. I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't be advocating for it either because we just saw that.
Exactly.
I say yes. Cody makes the most sense to me, story-wise.
It makes the most sense because they are definitely going to have a rematch, but I wouldn't mind seeing John drop the belt before that. To whom, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if I like that, like, for Cody. Losing it to John and then winning it back. I don't want to say it's, like, predictable and lame, but I don't know. I definitely want to see a rematch, though, but I don't know if I want it for the belt.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I mean, Wade Barrett would tell all you guys, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. I mean, it's gonna happen, like it or not. And I don't know if I like it or not. I guess I'm indifferent to Cody winning the title again, which he's going to at some point. But whether or not he wins it off of John, I'm indifferent to. But I just think story-wise, I can't see where else they're going with this. They're even, they're taking the step to give Cody vacation time and get him off of our mind, so we're not thinking about Cody as a threat. That's always a telltale sign that he is the biggest threat. The way WWE does their booking. So yeah, it's gonna be Cody.
Yeah, for me, I mean, just as of right now, I just feel like the way Cody lost, I just don't see how he could win it back. Like the way especially after how you lost, like you got to get it back. I feel like, especially with Cody being the guy too. Like it'd be different if he had lost to Cena, I guess, clean, or if Cody had been like the face of the company. But like to lose in that fashion, you don't think Cody gonna want to, especially with him trying to like the story of him trying to ruin wrestling and Cody's entire life has been revolved around wrestling is like how from a storyline perspective, I don't see how Cody could just let that happen or like even let anybody else take the title from him. Like for me, if I'm Cody, the way I'm looking at it, like nobody else taking it but me. I don't care who it is. Like you took it from me and you're trying to ruin the business that has been in my family forever. I can't allow that to happen. Like I have to get it back. So that's just how I see it happening. We'll name a few other names. What about Braun Breaker?
Before we move on to Braun Breaker, let me say one more thing about Cody. Because I think that Cody, long-term, also solves a problem that we discussed previously on the show. We've discussed, like, okay, now that John Cena is heel, right? I don't think any of us think they're going to send Cena out as a hated man. So our question has been posed to, how do you get him back on the right side of things? And I think that Cody coming back several months down the line and getting that title match and then doing some variation of a double turn in that match where Cody decides that the last time he tried to do things the right way, it didn't work, so he decided to do things the wrong way. Yeah, and then that also gets Cena's sympathy going out the door as well. So I think that'd be great for Cody because I think at some point he's going to need to shift because this white meat babyface thing is only going to work for so long. So some kind of double turn down the line might work out, and for both of them too.
Okay, yeah, hold that thought. I'm actually going to come back to that in a minute.
Okay.
What about Braun Breaker?
He's not my favorite person. I don't think he's in a whole nother story. I don't see how the story would make sense. So I'm gonna say no.
Maybe towards the end of the year, not right now. I'm also not a big fan of someone being super fast tracked to the world title. Yeah. So I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't love it. But if it does happen towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say no. He's like 27 years old. It's yeah, it's way too fast. So what if you give him the world title right now and have him win it off Cena, what are you going to do with him for the rest of his career? Like, I just think that's way too much too quick for him.
Like y'all said, storyline wise, I don't really see it coinciding. But shit, if he was to like win Money in the Bank and have a shocking moment, perhaps like I'd be a little bit open to it, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Too soon, especially with the story they're telling right now. It just doesn't make sense for Braun to be the world champion and Seth to just be there. That's just me though.
Yep. Well, so you're right that the story isn't there. I'm quite frankly a little bit surprised at how many of you are saying that you don't think Braun Breaker is ready. I think he's more than ready. In fact, after Mania, when he lost the IC title without getting pinned, I thought his next step was going to be Jey Uso. I thought it was going to be Breaker versus Uso in like a 3-match program that ended with Braun Breaker winning that big gold belt. Unfortunately, now that, in my opinion, and again, I know there's things to like about this story, but this is just my opinion. In my opinion, on screen, it looks like Braun Breaker has been demoted because he's no longer his own man. He's Seth Rollins' flunky, which I don't get at all. I'm willing to be proven wrong based on how they present him, and he did look good. But I don't even think he's the biggest threat to a world title in his own faction, quite frankly. I'd pick Seth Rollins before I'd pick Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is my pick to win Money in the Bank this year. So like Ryan said, that could mean anything once he gets it. But storyline-wise, no, I don't see it.
All right, so speaking of Seth Rollins, I'll throw him out there since he was kind of a topic. What about Seth Rollins?
Same thing. I don't see how it would make sense with the story. I mean, nah, I just don't see where it would make sense with the story.
I'd be okay with Rollins taking it if he gets a little bit more serious. I can see him taking it because he is a big fan of wrestling and he wouldn't want Cena to ruin it. He just doesn't see how he's kind of turning into what Roman was with the bloodline. And I like that aspect of the character right now. So I think Seth would be a good candidate. But once again, towards the end of the year, because I don't think Cena's dropping it anytime soon.
I say no. I think Seth should go after Jay's title. That's my main reasoning.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's kind of Seth has Jay on his radar, low key, and it makes a little bit more sense. And kind of muddy the waters, heel versus heel a little bit too. I don't know. I kind of would take away from both of them in a way.
Fair point.
Let Seth take it off the Yeet Merchant.
I think in character, Seth sees the big gold belt as his. I think Seth looks at that big gold belt and sees his face in it. I wouldn't see Seth going after the other one, so no.
Okay. And you guys can base this off of how, I guess, however you want to view it. It doesn't have to be like right now in the moment. It could be, I mean, obviously Cena's not going to lose it right now, but we're talking like when the time is right, he's not going to be champ all year because he's going to retire. So whether it's his last match, whether it's SummerSlam, whether it's Clash in Paris or whatever, in the case you think he's going to lose the championship. What about Drew McIntyre?
See, he's my pick for Money in the Bank this year. I know he did it last year, and we're not going to talk about it, but
No, we are not.
We're gonna, he's actually my pick this year. I would not mind seeing Drew go after John because I'm pissed off he's going after Jacob right now. I'm pissed about that. I feel like Drew's way past the mid card. I understand they're trying to, make the U.S. title, get some weight, but like I wouldn't mind John and Drew. I wouldn't mind that.
I agree. I think Drew would be a good choice. To me, Drew and Rollins is in the same boat. Like they have a lot of points, and they don't see themselves as the bad guy in the situation. So yeah, I'm all here for Drew being a world champion again. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see why put Drew and also Damian Priest as well. I don't see why put them back down to where the U.S. title is. I say keep somebody like Braun in the mid card just for a little bit longer, just so that we can see him like go against other people like Jacob, for example. Like I would like to see Braun versus Jacob. I would like to see him challenge for that title instead. I think there's more interesting things somebody like that could do instead of putting people who've already been world champion back down. I don't get the point of that personally.
Honestly, it could turn him babyface. Just all the energy he's got now is working for him. It's just directed to the heels instead of to the fans, right? So I think that that could work for him, and it could really elevate him. And I like it historically too.
So you're a thumbs up for Drew?
I'm thumbs up for Drew. The more I think about it too, yeah.
I'm only thumbs up if they turn him face. But if he's staying heel, nah.
Could be a catalyst too, for sure.
Drew McIntyre has become the single most underrated performer on WWE's roster nowadays, bar none. He does not get the appreciation he deserves. His talent, and especially, my God, the last 2 years, the advancements that he's made in his promo work. I can't put into words how much better Drew McIntyre has gotten on the mic in the last 2 years. So I say give him the world, give him every belt, but this one in particular at this particular time, no. But if he wanted to Claymore Jey Uso next week and take that big gold belt, I'd be down for it. But this one, I don't see it happening.
Okay.
At least not until Cena loses it.
I got 3 more just because some of these could be interesting. What about LA Knight?
No. I don't even want him to have another title right now. He just had it twice in the past 6-7 months? No, go a little bit. I like him, but no.
Sure?
No. I'm really irritated about this whole 4-way that's coming up. I'm irritated. No. He does not need a title right now.
I agree. And I'm not a fan, so I don't think he should do it.
Oh, wow.
Well, I love LA Knight. I think he's hilarious. I think his promo work is some of the best in WWE right now. I think he's great. I would like to see him eventually become world champion, but like they just said, he did just have 2 runs with the U.S. title, just back to back. Like that Shinsuke run, I think some of us forgot that even happened because that was so fast. So I don't think he needs to have another title. Yeah, let's do some stuff with him to just get us to love him again, because I think that he was hot on fire for a while, and then he just kind of flattened out a little bit. I think they need to make him interesting again before giving him the world title.
Under the radar, Cena kind of ignited that match you talking about that light him off in October of 2023. So that might have been his peak of popularity, but I'd like to see him challenge. I don't think would win, but I would definitely like to see him challenge Cena. I think that'd be cool for him and like a stepping stone up. I don't know if he's ready yet. I like LA Knight. I just don't know if I see it.
No, I don't really think the story makes any sense for LA Knight of all people to do it.
The reason I'm a no is that I love LA Knight. I think he can build a match with anybody, and he can be the leading force in building that match. Once the bell rings, though, LA Knight is a little bit limited, and his best matches are when he's got someone in there with him that's better than him to lead the choreography a little bit. When you're asking me about LA Knight versus 40-something-year-old John Cena,
it's kind of the same
I'm not real crazy about that.
Ew.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with that.
Can't deny that one.
Nah. When you paint that,
Yeah, gross, right? Yeah, no.
That might be worse than Cena Orton. Oh my god, no.
That doesn't sound good. It doesn't.
Yeah, you guys don't think it could help LA Knight be a bigger babyface?
Well, of course it could, but again,
could,
the match
but-
would be terrible, and there's just no story for it. So,
Okay. What about Logan Paul?
for fuck's sake,
Bro,
buddy.
next question. Next question.
you can get some deal for that one,
Next
bro.
question.
I gotta throw him out there.
Next question.
You really
bro.
don't.
Next question.
I mean, he might be a Money in the Bank candidate. I'm just saying. But
Okay.
He's my
I-
second pick for Money in the Bank. actually.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what?
Jay, you said your pick was Logan for Money in the Bank. Is that what you said?
He's my second pick.
Second pick.
Okay.
Ugh.
I know a lot of people don't like him. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I threw him
You
out.
gotta get the reaction though. Look at us.
So is it no for everybody?
Not a good con.
Nah, he's a no.
Well, my thing with Logan Paul, I mean, I don't like him, but it's not even about that. It's about the fact that I don't think that man's not dedicated to wrestling like he keeps saying he is. We don't see him wrestle outside of pay-per-views. And I don't think that he's actually going to get a lot of the accolades people think he's going to get, because I think that they know he's not that dedicated to it. I think he knows deep down inside he's not that dedicated to it, and he's just there to help promote himself and make more money. Maybe that's cynical, but I just don't see him having that much of a future there. I think it's just for publicity.
The more you see of him, it kind of wears away a little bit, right? Because at first he had that rejection, and then he was like, all right, well, he kind of has good matches and he's doing well and he seems to be into it. But now that he's kind of lingering, you kind of get the first sentiment that you had of him, that it's just like,
Yeah.
That wore off a while.
it wore off, and he needs a, what's his 2.0? What's Logan Paul 2.0 like in the WWE? I think he's ready for that.
Okay.
Because there's something there, but not at that level.
He's
What
just
about,
not ready as an overall package, bro? He's just not ready at all.
Yeah, and again, the dynamic of the character dynamic of Logan Paul and John Cena doesn't work for me the way their characters are right now. So that build would be atrocious. No,
That match would be dog shit. That match would be dog shit.
I think that match would be better than LA versus
good Cena match.
Cena.
Because Cena's washed and Logan Paul cannot lead a match. So
Right.
no, ew.
I think
I
Logan
think it would
Paul
be
will
okay.
win a world title at some point. By the way,
You
I
think
think
he'll
he
be
will.
okay?
I think
Because
it's
Cena
coming
can
down
lead
the
a match,
line.
and Logan
but-
Paul can do all the
Cena,
important
Logan
shit.
can create the movement, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
Logan
gonna
creates the movement. Cena can just lead the match. I mean, that's what Logan Paul did when he fought Seth Rollins, when he fought Roman Reigns. Like he did most of.
It kind of need to
That's
be a
fair.
three-way.
He did most of the, I guess, the cool stuff in the match, but I don't think he was leading those matches. You know what I mean? Like he was just doing his spots. What about Gunther?
Yeah.
No, same thing with LA Knight. He had a decent title run, honestly. I'm actually a Gunther girl. He had a pretty decent title run, but I don't want to see, he doesn't need to go against John. No, he needs to go take a break. I really don't even want to see him at Backlash.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm a
that's
Gunther
wrong.
girl. I feel like we have a good amount of talent. Like, let's switch some things up.
Well, in between,
I don't wanna see him.
I think your point is, and I agree, between the start of the IC title run to the end of this last title run, he's been on TV every week for what feels like 10 and a half years. So
Yes.
I think
Same
him
thing for
going
Cody.
away for a little bit is a good thing.
But that's how it used to be, though. People are supposed to be on TV. Like you're not supposed to be away. Like that was how it was when we grew up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'll
Someone's
take that
disagreeing
Logan
with me that Logan Paul can't lead a match. What match has he led?
Just because he's athletic doesn't mean he can lead a match.
Yeah, see, this is what I be saying. Y'all some bots in here because y'all, what y'all talk about, bro?
Yeah, people. As far as Gunther
He
goes,
doesn't have the.
no, we just saw it. We just saw Gunther with it, and I didn't really love his world title reign. His IC title reign was much better.
100%.
It was.
See, I think it would elevate him too, because he's at like that A- tier. Cena would, beating Cena would get him to that AA plus tier. And honestly, like we said with Drew, it might turn him babyface. It might turn Gunther babyface in a way too, because there is a babyface character in there. I don't know if it's timing wise, if it would work out with Cena as champion, but eventually I think Gunther gets to that tip top tier as perhaps eventually a babyface, hopefully.
Okay.
I think he got it in him. Yeah.
I don't think. I think it's the same issue that I just had with LA Knight. It's one, we just saw him have a couple title runs back to back. Two, I think they need to get a little bit more creative with him. The Jey and Gunther feud lacked so much creativity and just interesting aspects to make that an interesting storyline for me. I think they need to take some time and figure out what his character is really supposed to be. I think with the whole McAfee thing, even though that match, whatever, I still think that that's a little bit of an interesting way to go with him. So maybe once they come up with something more interesting for him, yeah, but not from Cena yet.
Because he's going to be a babyface to some of the fans when he beats that McAfee's ass for sure.
Yeah.
So I think there's something there. I'd be definitely interested. It just doesn't here in May. It just doesn't feel right. But perhaps later in the year.
Okay. Go ahead.
All bias put every belt on my glorious king, but when y'all explain it, it's too soon. This character is being fleshed out. We'll pump the brakes on a Gunther title reign for now.
And if they're going to expand on this character of doing with Gunther, really what they were starting to do with Bronson Reed a few months ago, this character of bull in a China shop, freight train down the tracks, try and stop me if you can type shit. That doesn't really work with John Cena and what he's doing right now. So, but I think by the time Gunther finds his way back to a world title match, I think Cena is going to be done. I don't think we're going to see Gunther back in a world title match for a while.
But Gunther's methodical style would kind of go with Cena in a way. He would bring a lot out of him, I think, with this current John Cena. But not
that would
Cena.
probably be the best Cena match we could see. I'm not so much not sold on the potential match. I'm just not sold on. They seem so far apart right now, story wise. I can't. My mind can't put them together before Cena. And this question is taking the title from Cena, right? That's the question. And I can't see Gunther working his way back to a world title match before Cena's already lost that title and fucked off back to Hollywood. So, I can't see it happening.
Do you guys think we're gonna get a Gunther and Cena match before he retires?
I hope so.
A lot of people wanted that for WrestleMania before the heel turn.
I did, yeah.
I would like it. I just don't think we're going to see it.
No,
reps.
I think we should have had it, but I don't think we're gonna get it.
Oh, okay. So let's switch over to Jey Uso, the other world champion. Ladies, I want to start with you all. Do you feel, because we've had many discussions like this on the pod, do you feel Jey Uso not only is world championship material, but actually can be a good world champion? I mean, obviously booking and all that stuff has to play into it as well, but do you think he could be somebody who can, quote unquote, be a main event guy?
Skip me.
Skip you? Oh man.
I'm so indifferent. I'm so indifferent about it. Yeah, skip.
I mean, how do you feel?
Can you explain that? Because I'd like to hear, because the viewpoints of Jey Uso have always been, yes, give him the world, or oh my god, this guy sucks. So I'd like to hear from somebody.
I mean, however you feel, that's how you feel.
Okay, so I used to be a person that was very give Jey the world. He has main event material. He's good on the mic somewhat, and he's getting better at his moveset. So give him the world. And now it's like, okay, he has the championship, and I'm kind of like, now what? I don't know where we're going. Like when I think of Jey Uso for the rest of this year, I wasn't thinking no Logan Paul, I'll tell you that, but nothing else comes up to me. Now with this whole little rivalry, maybe question marks about him and Sammy, I see her coming up, but like I'm just really indifferent about it. I don't know where we're going.
Not a bad thing though that you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're all supposed to have all the answers. As far as Jey goes, I think I think he's fine. Anybody could be a world champion if you write the story and put it on them. Like Jinder Mahal was the champion after being a jobber for years, and he had it for like 6 months. He beat Randy Orton in his hometown. Like if you want it to be, it can be. I think Jey Uso has the backing of the crowd in the arenas. He's selling merch. I understand why they gave him the ball and they're gonna let him run with it. As far as what now, I feel like it's always what now when someone becomes a champion. I think him and Sammy might be in game. I feel like Sammy may turn on him towards the end and be the one to take that title off of him. Because if they keep building Sammy up to say he's gonna win a championship, and if he never wins it, I just feel like that's a disservice to Sammy fans. So
Yes, Lewis been saying on the pod that because the Rumble's in Saudi next year, he said Sammy's winning the Rumble.
I think that promo that he just cut was the first step towards the start of the Sammy Rumble agenda. Was his promo against Seth where he said, I will be a world heavyweight champion. So I'm with Lewis. I 100% am making a too early pick that Sami Zayn's going to win the Rumble in January. For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying no. Oh, were you done, Haven?
Oh, no, I was saying I was done.
Okay. I'm saying no to Jey Uso for reasons that Haven said. It could be a yes, but it's all about the writing. And for me, it feels like you're writing this character to only appeal to very young people. When you have somebody like Gunther come out and play in your brother's blood while you have to be locked to the ring and watch, and you never get a proportionate response to that from him because he's a face. I don't know. Maybe Triple H is just having a hard time with figuring out that faces can still be. They're still professional fighters. They can still be brutal. They can still get their get back when somebody does something like that to them. But for me, I think you lose a big portion of the because I'm not the only person who said this. I've talked to a lot of my friends about this, and they've agreed. They're like, "What's with all these faces being embarrassed, humiliated, destroyed, everything else, and then you never get to see that side come from them." So for me, it's just I just can't buy it when you write some of these characters to just feel, I don't know the word for it, just too child friendly, too clean, too nice.
Yeah.
I don't buy that person as a threat. When he beat Gunther, I knew it was going to happen because he's popular, and I knew that they were going to have this be his time for his fans. But me personally, I didn't buy it.
I don't want to say I'm indifferent to Jey Uso because I like him and I thought he earned that moment and the chance he's going to get here at WrestleMania and post WrestleMania. I don't think he will be Kofi Kingston as a champion. I think they'll have better building blocks to kind of give him to make sure he succeeds. I just don't know where he kind of lands. I think that he will benefit from Raw being like super women division focused, and he can kind of settle into where he is as champion, and then putting all that focus in women that he can kind of find his lane until they like need him as champion. And I think there's like a low-key bunch of good challengers for him as well, especially not including the draft as well. Paul is an interesting first one. I think star power wise, it will work. In-ring wise, I don't know. That's like a weird mixture that
It's gonna be
I
doo
don't
doo.
know. It could work, but
Let's break it down this way. So Logan Paul is going to be Jay's first challenger, which I said that was going to happen on the pod. I said that was going to be his first challenger because it's ultimate heel versus ultimate babyface, and nobody's going to support Logan Paul beating somebody as popular and beloved as Jey Uso. So that matchup, I feel like that was going to happen. So from a storyline base, that matchup does make sense when you're looking at babyface and heel aspect. But when we're talking match quality, somebody already said that Logan Paul isn't good enough yet to lead a match, and Jey Uso, for some people, is okay at best in ring. So
he's carryable. You got two carryable guys.
Yeah. So when you look at this feud in general, do you feel like this is a feud that can help Jey as champion when you combine the matches and the stories, or do you feel like he's just a limited guy and you're gonna kind of expect just maybe decent stuff at best?
Well, here's my problem with it is that you can't get any more popular with the crowd than he already is, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? Pack extra people in there to do the yeet thing? I mean, if this was a situation where Triple H felt like okay, Jey is over, but let's get him more over in a way. It would make sense.
I don't look at it that way though. I think they don't want the people to turn on him. That's why they
gotta
put him
maintain
against
it.
Logan.
Okay, so if that's but if you're already worried about that, then I call into question the decision to even do it in the first place. If you have that little faith that Jey Uso is going to be able to hold on to the crowd through one title defense, that you feel the need to throw the most hated guy in the company in his face, I find doubts in your trust in Jey Uso, and that's my big point, because Ryan mentioned Kofi Kingston, and ironically with that, and ironic because the Usos and the New Day are so like connected with everything that they do. I think that the Kofi championship reign is Jay's ceiling. It's not going to get any better than that. The Kofi title reign is Jay's ceiling. Kofi had a couple good feuds with Ziggler and Owens. He had at least one good match out of each of those feuds. And then the first time he came across someone like Brock Lesnar, the thing happened that we all knew was going to happen. Maybe not in 18 seconds, but that's neither here nor there. So
18.
So three things. Kofi is Jay's ceiling. The Kofi title reign is Jay's ceiling. Jay's not holding that thing until Mania. He's going to lose it before Mania. And see, here's, and I'm sorry, I don't want to take too long, but the thing with Jey, and the thing that is harming him, is that even though the crowd loves him, in a way he has lost the crowd, because people loved Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they really sunk into that what chant. And now what can we not get through a fucking promo on WWE without?
What?
The fucking what chant. And at Jey Uso's most pivotal, emotional promos that he's cut, he can't get the crowd to shut the fuck up. He can't get them to shut the fuck up. He literally turns to them and says, everyone calm down, and they yeet anyway. So Jey is going to struggle to have any story that in any way has an emotional connection with us, because the whole time he's crying about people underestimated me and my brother was bleeding, the crowd's behind him and going, yeet! So I don't know. It's there's a lot of things working against Jey Uso, but so again, Kofi Kingston is the ceiling, and he's not keeping that thing till Mania. That's my
I think he would benefit from a shorter reign too. Leave the people that love him yearning for more, right? And then don't let the naysayers completely turn on him completely. And I would do it in like a shocking way too. But I think it'll be all right. I think
to go back to Jay's point, to add on to it, I don't necessarily look at it a bad thing they're putting him against Logan, necessarily they're worried about the fans turning on him or don't want to, because the crowd can turn on anybody at any given day. You don't know who they're going to turn on. Cody was an anomaly for a long time for a lot of us. We were always talking about, well, I'm so surprised the crowd hasn't switched up yet. It literally took Cody to go up against John Cena in his retirement year for the crowd to finally switch up. And if he hadn't fought Cena at Mania, I don't think the crowd would have switched up on Cody necessarily. So for Jey, the crowd could switch up on him anytime, because you don't know how the fans are going to switch. You know what I mean? They 1 minute they like one thing, and the next minute they don't like it. Then they want this, and then they get it, and then it's not good enough for them. So you just never really know for that aspect how it's going to turn out.
I wanted to say real quick, the fans did almost turn on him before that, though. Before the Rumble match with KO, they kind of were. Some of them were kind of moving towards booing Cody and cheering KO a little bit more. And it seemed like it wasn't until he put KO through that ladder that people finally got to see that other side of him, that I think people were like, okay, he's actually pretty cool now. I think that's something I would like to see them do with Jey. I don't know why they're so afraid to do that. I understand that they like to, use their faces to be role models to kids or whatever and get that audience. But I just think I feel like you can't have a character that just only has that is so one dimensional, that only appeals to just this group of people, and that's it. Because that was a side of Cody that I think made him, or at least to me, when I saw him do that made him a lot more interesting to me. And I think that there's just ways that if they don't go with Jey, then I think it's possible that could be something that causes him to lose the audience a little bit.
You use the term one-dimensional, and that's a perfect thing the perfect way to describe Jey. He's supremely one-dimensional. He showed a little bit of expanded moveset with Gunther, a little, mostly just stealing Gunther's moves. But I mean, with Jey, when he's in a match, you can there's 3 things that are guaranteed: death, taxes, and a super kick followed by a splash. Those are Jey Uso's matches. So he's going to have to find a way to expand not only his promo versatility, but his in-ring versatility a little bit too. Those are maybe the only 2 ways that this title reign is in any way looked at as successful. We look back on it, regardless of how it ended or how long it went. The quality is what we're going to look at. So if he's able to amp up his promo work, if he's able to expand his in-ring acumen a little bit, then. But I think Jey is who he is at this point in his career. I mean, he's 40 already, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like he's a developing superstar. He's been at it for 15 years. So Jey is who he is. We just have to try and find a way to enjoy it. But I do hope that he finds a way to shake it up a little bit.
And I think that promo that he gave after what happened to Jimmy with Gunther I actually thought that was a great promo. I was pretty impressed by it. I felt it. But I just felt like the actions that followed it in Mania, I had a lot of people telling me, because I criticized that. I was like, that was a good promo, but there should have been some hands thrown for what he did to Jimmy. And I had so many people tell me, oh, he's going to crash out of Mania. He's going to throw hands at Mania. I was like, he won the match, but he didn't crash out. Yeah. I didn't see enough intensity from him in that match to be proportional to what happened to Jimmy. And I'm like, why are they so afraid to give us that side of him?
Yeah, we put
that
up.
I would have been impressed. I would have been like, awesome. I didn't expect him to go there. Like, succeed my expectations, please.
Yeah, we put up a clip on the socials about Lewis speaking about that, about the inconsistency of Jey's character booking, and some people weren't seeing it that way. But there's a serious and unserious side of his gimmick, and even though he's a babyface, we understand that 1,000%. But this still doesn't mean at times when it's time to get serious, you got to get serious. You know, John Cena was the ultimate cheesy gimmick babyface, but I remember when Edge slapped his dad in the face, John Cena stood on business after that. He came out and was coming for Edge's neck every week. You know what I mean? Like when Randy Orton kicked his dad in the skull, their match at Unforgiven didn't even end in a contest. He just beat the shit out of Randy Orton, and then the match ended. Like it wasn't even a match. Like so.
John even more recently, Seth Rollins in 2019 almost stomped Baron Corbin's head through the mat because he hit Becky Lynch with the End of Days. So, I mean, it's happened in recent history that a guy snaps. And the thing is, too, the frustrating thing with Jey is that we've seen it, right? Main event Jey Uso was brutal, and he was ruthless, and he was mean. So,
we needed a mixture of what he did to Gunther leading to Mania, but also what he did to Roman. Like when Roman took out Jimmy going into SummerSlam, Jey was all about business. I'm coming for you. You crossed the line. You feel me? And we all knew that Jimmy was the line you don't cross for Jey. So when Gunther did it, the promo was great, but it was different opposed to how he came after Roman. You know what I mean? Like when he went after Roman, he was trying to fight Roman like pretty much every week leading into Mania. For Gunther, it was more so like, I'm telling you right now, I'm beating that ass when WrestleMania comes around. And then when WrestleMania came around, it was kind of like
a regular match.
It wasn't really like belt to ass. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know. It's very, I guess, wishy-washy when it comes to Jey's aspect of his character. Now, to go back to the Logan aspect, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't even know if this is going to be a legit feud. I don't know if it's going to be a one-off. I don't know if they're going to try to stretch it out. I'm not exactly sure. I get why they put him against Logan because, like I said, they're not going to cheer Logan over Jey, so that's going to help at least sustain Jey's momentum right now as champion going up against somebody like Logan. So that's why I don't know if they're going to stretch it out or just do a one-off. But when it comes to the consistency of delivering, that's where I'm kind of at the balance because Logan, yes, has proven that he can give us good matches, but Jey isn't somebody that I look at on the Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins level where I feel like those guys can work with anybody and have a good match. You know what I mean? Like Jey can have good matches too, but it's usually against like the Gunthers. You know what I mean? People who can have good matches with anybody. I don't look at Jey Uso like that. So I don't really know how this could turn out. So I'm not going to shit on it because there's been a lot of things that I didn't think was going to be good in wrestling, and it turned out to be really good. I mean, we talked about Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. That was Logan's third match ever. You couldn't convince me that was going to be what it turned out to be, but that match was really, really good. You know what I mean? So I got to let it breathe, see what happens. If it doesn't turn out to be good, I'm not going to say I'm going to be shocked by it, but if it turns out to be bad, I'm not going to be shocked by it either, you know? So I guess I have to wait and see what happens for me personally.
They've got an opportunity to do something really cool with the Jey Uso reign too. They have an opportunity to do not only some fresh matchups, but also enhance the quality of the feud, because we've already talked about how Jey Uso has to have someone in the ring that can help him carry the match. And there are a couple of really, really great work rate guys on Raw that are waiting for that opportunity to step up and do something big. Sheamus hasn't had a world title match in a while. Ludwig Kaiser has been cutting promos during the commercials for weeks, talking about how he's waiting on a big opportunity. Finn Balor has say what you want about Finn Balor and Finn Balor and all that stuff. He's still a great work rate guy. There are crazy good work rate guys on Raw's roster that Jey could get in there with and have just one-off great feuds. Same with Kofi. They put him in there with Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens could carry a match with him. They put him in there with Dolph Ziggler because Dolph Ziggler could carry a match with him, right? So you got to do the same thing with Jey Uso. You got to put him in an area to succeed. And these guys that would be fresh matchups with Jey, first of all, and then again, make Jey look a lot better than he actually is. So, yeah, they have a great opportunity to do that. I just got to.
I feel like what they should have done here, because I know AJ's got the feud going on with Karrion, but I feel like if they were going to have Logan in here, because Logan just lost to AJ, why not just put it a triple threat?
Right,
Logan.
exactly.
Do Logan versus AJ versus Jey versus Logan versus AJ, and that way you got at least a work rate like AJ Styles in there, who, even though he's older, still AJ Styles. You know what I mean? So at least that, I think that would have been a lot better, and that would have made sense, like, if they wanted to put that together. But I mean, obviously you got stuff with Karrion Kross going on right now too. So I mean,
dude, you talk about Karrion Kross before we get off of Jey Uso. I almost said I wouldn't be surprised, but I can't give WWE that much credit. But I wouldn't be mad at all if Karrion Kross ends up being the one to end Jey Uso's reign. And I don't think Kross would carry it to Mania either. But
you saying he won like Money in the Bank or something?
Not necessarily even Money in the Bank. Just put him in a match with Jey and win the title and then hold it for a couple of months. I think he's earned it. I think Karrion Kross is doing the best work of his career on the mic. Now, again, I can't say that's going to happen. He literally just lost a match on Main Event. So
who?
I can't remember it.
Dragon
I saw
Lee.
it on Twitter. Yeah,
Characters
Dragon Lee.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dragon Lee don't ever win matches.
I can't put any faith in WWE that they're going to do it. But Karrion Kross is another guy that I think can get in there and give Jey a great match. So anyway, they just have an opportunity to do some
he's catching my attention a lot with his character aspect. Well, I mean, I liked him in NXT, and that was his peak, right? That was his ceiling in WWE. But ever since he came to the main roster, it really hasn't been the same. But over the last couple of months, I mean, he's been getting bigger reactions. I think people are starting to understand his character aspect of being like the heel maker. Like every time he's attached to somebody,
he's that devil on everybody's shoulder. He's always backstage, poking people with sticks. And
he's kind of like the guy going around, kind of like just
he's a troll.
Yeah,
causing chaos without really having to get his hands dirty. I guess that makes sense without having to get it, the blood on his hands, stuff like that. So it's gonna be
WWE's G baby, bro.
That's even worse.
They had Karrion Kross lose to Dragon Lee.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I can't even make sense of that. That's crazy.
That's the speed champion, man. Come on.
No, I know.
Dragon Lee loses everybody.
It's nothing against Dragon Lee. I mean, you see how popular Karrion Kross is getting right now. That just seems like a very weird decision to make.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like
maybe it was a test
Phoenix or something,
right?
Okay, I get it. But like Dragon Lee is great, but like
Dragon Lee is great. Do you think Dragon Lee is pissed off that before he could even ever get his foot in the ground, they hired the Lucha Brothers?
That's crazy.
Because let's be honest,
however
far up Dragon Lee was up the ladder, the Lucha Brothers have now pushed him back down the ladder.
It just depends on because they just bought AAA, so that's probably a good thing for somebody like him, because I can see Dragon Lee winning the AAA title, but it would just depend. I mean, there are some people in WWE, whether people believe it or not, some people understand their ceiling, and some people are okay with that. So I don't know if he's accepted
That's
it,
true.
And it's okay with him, then I guess. But I mean, then there are other people who feel like they're better than what they are, and they want to go out somewhere and expand to prove themselves. You know what I mean? So that's what I always talk about when people get released. It's like there's so much wrestling out there. Like sometimes it's a blessing for certain people. You look at Cody Rhodes, look at Drew McIntyre, you look at all these people who, if they had stayed in WWE, Cody Rhodes would have never been a WrestleMania main eventer. He'd probably been Stardust for the rest of his career. Drew McIntyre might have been stuck in 3MB forever, for all we know. You know what I mean? Like,
But even from a storyline perspective, because this has bothered me too, when Rey Mysterio went down, and for Rey to have Dragon Lee standing right there but to point across the hallway and say, "Hey, Ray Phoenix, you want to come sub in for me?" Like, it's storyline. If I was Dragon Lee, I'd be so pissed off.
He didn't even pick Dragon Lee last year too.
Right here, sitting right here, brother.
Well, it's like Quinn just said in the comments. Dragon Lee is one of those guys I keep forgetting is there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh my god.
That's real.
He's somebody. Honestly, like he's so good. I feel like if they're not going to do nothing with him, just put him back in NXT and let him do it.
Facts. He would thrive over there.
And he would. He's an NXT World Champion. You know what I mean? Like he just let him go to NXT and do his thing. So I mean, I don't know, but I guess it would just depend if he's okay with where he's at and the ceiling that he's at. So, speaking of the releases, some of the people that got released, who are some of the people that you feel like got released that are really going to be able to shine like outside? Whether
Dakota Kai, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Dakota Kai could be knockout champion in 2 months. Like Dakota Kai is great. So I have no doubts that Dakota Kai is going to kick ass somewhere. Absolutely. Tragic what they did to her. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
Now, one person I'm concerned about, and this just breaks my heart, dude. Especially if everything between him and Paul Heyman was a shoot, if that shit really happened. I feel so bad for Braun Strowman, dude. Because that dude he was built in a lab for WWE. Built in a lab to be a WWE wrestler. He doesn't fit in an AEW. Maybe Impact if they can find a spot for him. But that dude has done things on screen that no man has ever done in WWE, between the tipping over the trucks and tipping over the cars, and he's single-handedly almost responsible for some of the craziest moments in the past 15 years of WWE, with Lashley getting speared through the thing, with the car with Bronson Reed just like 2 months ago. And it's over now because now it's twice, and he got released in the previous regime, and now he's been released in this regime. So it's over for Braun Strowman. He's never coming back. Braun Strowman, and I mean, Malik, you can speak to it more than I can. You're the Braun Strowman fan here, but Braun Strowman, man, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. I hate it for him.
Yeah, so before I let everybody else go about the releases, Braun Strowman is like one of the biggest fumbles for me. I know we talk about that a lot for WWE talent. Like you can say that about a lot of people. Like, oh, they fumbled.
Shayna Baszler too, by the way, just in case we don't get to her. Shayna Baszler's a fumble too. But go ahead.
People talk about a lot of fumbles, you know what I mean, about a lot of superstars that you like to fumble, but I mean, I truly believe Braun Strowman is one of the major fumbles they could have had, bro. Like the way they presented this guy and built him up, bring him into the Wyatts as the black sheep when nobody really knew who he was. And then afterwards, he had a great presentation of doing the stuff with Sami Zayn and the squash matches. The feud with Roman Reigns was really, really good. The stuff he even did with Big Show to help bring him up and look more of a monster. All they had to do was just have him beat Brock Lesnar, bro. I just don't understand. Every time he fought this guy for the title, bro, it don't matter.
That's what I told you last time.
No, I don't want nobody to talk right now. I don't want nobody to talk because this really irritates me. Every time they had him fight this motherfucker, it don't matter if it was a singles match, a triple threat, a fatal four-way. He could never beat this guy. I don't understand. The one guy on the roster that you're looking at when he's face to face with Brock Lesnar, you're like, damn, he's stronger than Brock. At the time, you maybe say he's a little more athletic, faster than Brock. Yep. He's an opposing threat. If there was a guy on the roster, you're like, damn, I believe that Brock Lesnar isn't a bigger threat than him. It's him. It's that guy. And he couldn't beat that guy every time they fought for the title. I never understood it, bro. What really pissed me off, too, is when they have this man. Remember when he eliminated everybody in that chamber?
Oh, yeah.
Just to lose to Roman Reigns in the end. Yep. The one guy that you knew the fans did not want to see win. But we were all kind of expecting, like, okay, Roman's going to win the match. Don't have Braun Strowman just beat everybody, and then just lose to that guy. And then he does. The best thing they had for him at WrestleMania was to team up with the 10-year-old kid. They couldn't find nothing else for him to do for that WrestleMania. The best thing they had for him to do was team up with the child and bury pretty much the entire tag team division just to give up the titles the next day because this kid has school. He cannot defend the title, so he literally has school. He's like looking at great. What are we doing here? That's the best thing they had for him.
We should get a T-shirt made that says that kid had school. I love when Malik says that.
Then they kind of revived him. They kind of revived him though because he won the Money in the Bank. So this was their second chance. I'm like, okay, he still was getting good crowd reactions.
Oh.
Just to have him have one of the dumbest cash-ins of all time.
Stupid.
Have him cash in on Roman Reigns in the Hell in a Cell match, which he could have beat Roman in the Hell in a Cell match, but then Brock Lesnar has to be involved in this guy's business every time.
But I'll
Because
tell you
how
what,
does Brock Lesnar come out and attack both guys in the match, and then the match ends in a no contest? It's a hell in a cell match. Like I saw a man one time literally get thrown off the cell and then choke slam through the cell in one match, and the match continued. So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, when a Hell in a Cell happened, it's like barbaric. It's supposed to be until somebody loses definitively. That didn't happen. Then we get Crown Jewel, where he literally got destroyed by Brock Lesnar in, I don't know, a matter of minutes, where he took multiple F5s. He was never the same after that. I literally cannot believe what I watched. To me, he was never the same after that. He didn't get the same crowd reactions, even though he did become the Universal Champion. It's really Mickey Mouse if you think about it. He only got that damn title because Roman Reigns said, hey, COVID happened. I'm going to sit out WrestleMania. Y'all figure it out. We need a replacement for Goldberg. Braun, we need you to come in and take the championship from Goldberg. That's the only reason. If that had never happened, he wouldn't even been on that WrestleMania. He didn't even have a match, a direction for that WrestleMania. So I just feel like Braun Strowman, I thought was you look at him and you think that would like be a Vince guy. You just look at how his presentation is, you would think that would be somebody like, oh man, this is a Vince McMahon guy right here. I'm not saying Braun Strowman was going to be like a WrestleMania main event Roman Reigns type level guy, but I mean, this guy could have been one of the greatest big men they ever had, especially at his peak when he was doing all the crazy shit Jay talking about, flipping over the tractor trailers and shit like that. He was doing shit that you were like, bro, this dude is like, this presentation is insane. His strength, like, and it was believable. That's the main key. It was believable. When he would do stuff like that, you would watch him like, yeah, he could do that. When he flipped over that ambulance, I'm like, yeah, he could do that. I believe it. When he would destroy somebody and when he picked up Big Show and he threw him out of the cage and the cage exploded, I'm like, yeah, he can do that. I mean, like, he was super believable. And then when he came back to see him in the role, he was like, he did some good stuff when he came back. You know, the stuff with Jacob was good, and the stuff with Braun.
He literally banged out a banger with Gunther less than 2 years ago.
The stuff that he did when he came back was good, but it hurt for me at least to see him kind of in the opposite role. Like, now he's the guy who has to make other guys look like monsters. He's the guy who has to put others over in that position when it's like, bro, that should have been his spot. All they had him do was beat one guy the whole time. It would have submitted him. All he had to do was have him beat one guy, and you're telling me he can't beat Brock Lesnar not once, not one time, not in a fatal 4-way, not in a triple threat. He can't beat him once, not once. Like, every time they put him in a match with the guy, they fed him to him, bro. And that is, I never understood it, bro. I get they wanted Roman Reigns to be their guy, but you have to listen to the crowd reaction at that time, and people were not accepting Roman at the level that he's at now. They were very much behind somebody like a Braun Strowman. When they fought Roman Reigns, bro, and he beat Roman Reigns' ass, bro, they were so behind that. Like, yes, like this guy has it, you know, like he has something. And he one of the biggest fumbles for me, man. I'll never understand how they messed that up completely. Like, it was, if you had something right here on the silver platter, they had that with him, and they said,
nah, I'm sorry I couldn't give you advanced warning, but I knew that Malik was going to crash out. That's the only reason I brought it up.
When he got released, I wasn't even that pressed about it because it's like he's not the same anymore.
Right? Yeah.
He's not what he used to be. So it's like, and he's already had the multiple injuries. I think he's even like paralyzed in his leg a little bit. So it's like his
and they showed during that title reign, that one world title reign that he had, he spent half the time getting slimed by the Miz and John Morrison, and the other half in shitty
Otis.
Otis, and then shitty backstage stuff with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt did a lot of cool. What's the word I'm looking for? Those matches that weren't really matches. Why is the word escaping me?
Cinematic. He started through that stupid ass video he had with Shane McMahon about the dumb beanstalk. Oh my god!
Did the worst cinematic stuff Bray Wyatt's ever done. That they were literally just buying time until Roman Reigns came back. That's all they were fucking doing.
I told y'all many times, bro, on this pod. They only had Goldberg beat the Fiend just so Roman Reigns didn't beat the Fiend at WrestleMania and get booed, because that's who they really wanted to be the champion. They wanted Roman Reigns to be the champion, and if Roman Reigns had went to that WrestleMania and beat the Fiend, the newly fresh Fiend, booed out of the stadium. But if he did Goldberg, they hate Goldberg more than him. So that's an instant cheer, at least for that time frame, that moment, and that literally statement proved, because they literally, who do you know that comes back and they create a fucking pay-per-view the next week just so that guy can win the championship? They literally created a pay-per-view a week after SummerSlam just to put the title on Roman Reigns, bro. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that happen for any other superstar.
You're right.
Now, granted, it was it
run.
was a good thing they did because it was the tribal chief gimmick at that time. But I mean, like they literally put a pay-per-view the week after SummerSlam just to be like, all right, Bray Wyatt, you're gonna win the title and hold it for a week, and then we need to give it to Roman Reigns right afterwards. Like that, I don't think this ever happened to anybody else. So, ladies, for the people who got released, who are some people that you're excited to see expand, maybe on the Indies or somewhere else that you think could really break the ceiling of showing people how good they really are? Because not everybody's going to be, unfortunately, to give the opportunities, in WWE to really showcase, their talents.
I feel like Dakota's gonna go to. She kind of. I feel like she'll go to AEW. I think she'll do well.
In AEW, okay.
I think AEW will probably be the next stop she'll go.
Okay. Dakota, I think Dakota can succeed in a lot of places, to be honest, no matter where she goes. I think she can really thrive in a lot of good places. I like that.
Yeah. I want to see Lacey Lane. I think she would do good in AEW. Kaden Carter. She used to be really good on the indies, and I feel like in WWE they never gave her a real chance. Even though her and Katana were a really good actual tag team, I think she'll do really good in AEW or wherever she goes. I think Jakara will be good in TNA maybe. It's just kind of weird because of the relationship they have with WWE. So I don't know how that's going to go.
Surprise, man. I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Shayna
Baszler.
That shocked me too.
I think Shayna Baszler would do good probably against maybe GCW or something. I know someone said she's almost 50, but she can still go. And I feel like she never really had
almost 50.
That's what somebody in the
she's in her early 40s. She's not.
That's what Chat said. I don't know.
Chat's bugging.
Let me see.
She's like 44.
When are they not? But let's see.
But
age, but people only want to use the age restriction to certain people. It's weird, bro. Just because you're in your 40s doesn't mean
LA Knight's 42, right?
So, LA Knight's in his 40s. Jey Uso's about to be 40. Cody about to be 40. Like this, Randy Orton's 45. And if Randy Orton win the world championship tomorrow, people would.
They were gassing it. She's 44. Bro.
Yeah,
Yo.
She could easily have 3 good years.
I could crash out about Shayna Baszler the same way Malik crashed out about Braun too. Because how do you not put Shayna Baszler over at WrestleMania in 2020?
Yep.
How do you not? After she literally eliminated everybody in the Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
And then she just loses. And then
ruined the whole chamber.
And then never, ever, and I'm standing up to stretch, I'm sorry, never looked the same again. Never came close to the main event after WrestleMania. Ever.
No,
and she was the only certified killer on your roster. Just like Braun Strowman, the only person I would look at and say, you know what? If the refs aren't there to stop her, she's going to kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You had that kind of, and now she's gone. And Shayna Baszler, I'm worried about too. Maybe she could do MMA again. I don't know how she feels about that, but I feel like her style doesn't really fit in anywhere else. She's in the same boat as Braun. I don't think because no one else has really had that MMA stereotype mold broken like WWE has. So maybe she could be the first one in AEW Impact, something like that. But yeah, Shayna Baszler, man, I hate what happened to her.
Knowing too that Becky wanted to put her over, and then they
we want to make the fans happy.
Yeah, the high powers fought against it. That makes it even more frustrating. Minx, go ahead.
100,000% agree on what y'all said about Shayna and Braun. I think that I'm not that upset that they got released because I think that, like y'all just said, they had their chances with them years ago and they fumbled them years ago. And by this time, you already got new people coming up who they want to put the focus on instead. So, unfortunately for both of them, the chance they had to strike while the iron was hot, they didn't. So they already fumbled both of them a long time ago. As for people who I think could still have a chance, I mean, I'll say it depends heavily on their health and whether or not injuries are going to continue to be an issue in their careers. Because I definitely do see potential in somebody like Dakota Kai, but she would have to, not be injured. That's been something that's been consistently kind of messing up her career. We've seen it. She gets injured and then her momentum gets lost and then she comes back, gets the momentum back, but then gets injured again. I think there might have been some other releases who have had the same. Shotzi's been one who I think has kind of gotten the crowd behind her, but then the injuries kind of took time away from her, had to be off TV for that reason. So it would depend on how long they can stay healthy, because some of them definitely have the ability to get the crowd behind them. I would say out of everybody, Gigi and Shotzi are surprising to me because it seemed like the stable that they were in with Paxley I loved that stable. I thought that was a great
tag. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was you put three women together who had chemistry. Seems like they get along in real life. Seems like they're real life friends. I believe that they get along and can work together. So I'm surprised that they were even released because me and a lot of other people were enjoying that, and I thought that had a lot of potential. So I could definitely see them again, like if they would stay healthy. Gigi Dolan and Shotzi for sure could succeed somewhere else. I would say Jakara Jackson too. I think that her and Lash together had the same kind of good chemistry where they seemed like realistically good in the ring together, good personalities that work together well. So yeah, everybody, I would say them.
I'm chomping at the bit to get into one more here. This one blows my mind. This one, I am so mad about this.
I'll just touch on the NXT people that were released. Like
Go ahead.
Oro Mensah's 30. I can see him go to New Japan and killing it and doing really well over there. I could see Riley Osborne is a guy that they said maybe was released for non-wrestling reasons, but he has a unique in-ring charisma that kind of translates pretty well. I always thought he was maybe be a little bit undersized for the WWE, but he can go somewhere and really connecting, maybe path out a way to get him back there one day. And then Javier Bernard, I can just see him go to NXT and being linked up to Santino since they're like similar personalities and like working and kind of cooking it over there too. So those are some NXT guys that I felt that maybe were have some value out there for sure.
Well, Jay, you want to throw out your?
Yeah. So you know who's going to be the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions in less than 3 months? Katana Chance and Caden Carter. WWE, don't release that team and then expect me to believe that you care about your women's tag team titles. You don't. You don't. Because they were your one and only legit women's tag team on your entire roster. The only one. Zoe and Shayna were starting to get to that point where maybe they could be, but then you released Shayna Baszler because, of course, you did.
Yep.
I don't care about the women. I care about the women. I don't care about the women's tag team championships. I don't. They're worthless. They're useless because WWE doesn't want to invest in it. They are a story driver only. There is nothing about those titles that interests me in any way, shape, and form, especially now that you had, I think, Kaden and Katana. I honestly think if they had just let them build and run that women's tag team division, I wholeheartedly believe, based on what they did in NXT, based on their combined charisma, based on everything I saw from them in the ring, that they could have been Hall of Famers. I think we could have looked back at those two in 20 years, and they could have had a plaque in the WWE Hall of Fame saying, look at our women's tag team division and how great it is, and these are the two women that started it. And
realistically, like you just mentioned, Shayna and Zoe, they could have gotten Shayna and Zoe to pick up more steam, and they could have gotten that to work. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't have. Just give them a little bit more TV time, like you said, invest more time into that division. Lash and Jakara were getting enough of a fan response and getting enough of a fan base to where it seemed like people cared about them.
Tatum and Gigi were just on TNA 3 weeks ago.
I don't. Gigi, yep, there you go. That's what I was about to say.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I fully agree with you. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, some of their most legit tag teams they weren't really able to kind of do much with them. You know what I mean? It's a weird.
But you got time for Becky Hogan to come back. So just, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, that's another example. I don't see why build up Bailey and Lyra to look like they have some kind of friendship and like they are a team that could potentially work together and have them win that gauntlet just to do that. That just really seems to prove more that like they really just don't care about those titles. It's like you just had them beat the whole gauntlet of other women's tag teams just to replace Bailey with Becky. Why? Why? You just got us to kind of care about, okay, wow, Bailey and Lyra really dominated there. They really cooked there. This could be something. And then, no, never mind.
And I already went off on the Bailey disrespect last week. I hated literally everything about that story. everything about that match, everything about the heel turn. I hated. There was not a single thing about that entire story around WrestleMania that I liked. I hated all of it.
Yeah, it wasted everybody's time.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it was kind of. I don't know. The only thing I'm hoping now is that now that they have this feud, I hope they can elevate the women's IC title and Lyra can be elevated. That's the only.
I liked what I saw out of Lyra on Raw last week. I'll say that. I liked.
Yeah, I mean
that's probably the best promo she's cut in her entire career so far.
This overall feud should do two things. It should help make the women's IC title relevant and important, and it should help propel up Lyra. I mean,
I forgot Lila was the champion before WrestleMania.
Those are the two key things that should happen with this feud. I think Becky probably will win it, and then Bayley's going to get involved when she comes back and they'll do like some type of triple threat angle. But in the end, even if Lyra doesn't get it back, whatever, like it should help propel her up, and the women's IC title should feel, at least somewhat relevant. But my only issue is because Becky's so good at elevating titles, when she loses it, what are we going to do after she loses it? Because she's not going to hold it forever. So whether she loses it to Lyra or somebody else, can you stay consistent with that after Becky loses the championship if she happens to win it? That's my only issue with it. Like, it'd be good when she has it, I think, and it'll help, and people, I think, will care about it because it's on Becky Lynch. But when she loses, then what are we going to do after that?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and finish this conversation, too. I think it's fitting that we have so many ladies on the show today. Because literally the only thing they are getting right with the women's division in WWE right now is Io. That's it. They are getting everything else wrong. Someone explain to me, and listen, I should preface this by saying I love Zelina Vega as a person. Everything that she did after she won the title with her parents about broke me up. I loved it. Everything was great. I love her as a person. I think she's a fine professional wrestler. Someone explained to me how Chelsea Green is getting bigger pops than any other woman in the company, and you thought it was a good decision to put the belt on Zelina Vega now. You know what I hear when Zelina Vega comes out, even now that she's won that damn title?
Crickets.
Rickets.
Nothing.
Rickets. She is getting no response. And I love Zelina Vega as a person and a performer. I do.
Me too.
But she's getting no response. And Chelsea Green was literally making that title. She was
that was the point I was making too before about like waiting to give certain people titles. I think sometimes it's good to just wait because you have to get the fans to actually care about that person before you just throw a title on them. And I think sometimes they'll just throw a title on somebody like Zelina. I think they're just hoping, okay, we had her beat Chelsea a couple times and we had her win, so now people will care about her. That usually doesn't work though. You have to make the fans care about her first and make us want to see her beat Chelsea first. Yeah. I'm a Zelina Vega fan too. I would argue I probably like her more than Chelsea, but it didn't feel exciting to me when she won. It felt like, okay, maybe they think Chelsea's getting stale or something, and we'll just give it to somebody else. It just felt like something to do just to shake things up, and it didn't really feel like, I don't know, that excitement for Zelina winning was just not there for me. I was like, I'm proud of her. I'm glad she gets her first singles title win. She deserves that, but I just felt like the build up for there was more build up between Chelsea and Michin than there was between Chelsea and Zelina.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been happier with B-Fab winning the title than Zelina Vega because at least B-Fab had something to do with her. Like I don't know.
It's a tough spot to follow Chelsea there, I will say.
Yeah. Sure. But if you're but that's my point. The reign was so good that if someone's gonna beat her, you have to give the fans a reason to care that she's being beaten, and no one gives a shit. No one cares.
I don't think people want to admit. I don't think they really know how to book the women's division properly. Like they know how to book a handful of women, but the rest of the division suffers. And Zelina beating Chelsea is a clear indication of that right there. So I don't know. I have no faith in them booking the women's division outside of like the top women.
Yeah,
NXT is completely different. That's
right. Yeah.
It's the same with the IC. So I was just going to say real quick. Sorry. I was just going to say real quick. It's the same with the IC. It shows that they don't know what to do there either to make that title feel important. Other than they're like, we'll just give it to Becky. That'll make fans care.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a pro and a con. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you have to have Becky come back to try to help elevate the IC title is a bad thing because you have other talent on the roster that you could use in that spot. But because Becky Lynch is such a valuable name, it could work though. You know what I mean? To an extent, but it's like you shouldn't have to have you shouldn't have to rely on Becky to come back to
Right.
do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, can she do it? Yes, but
Yeah.
that she shouldn't have to. You know what I
But
mean?
it can
Exactly.
work though,
Exactly.
because look at these damn tag team titles. Bianca and Jade elevated those titles. They put a rocket on them. But you can't put a rocket on something and then forget to refuel the rocket. And that's exactly what they did. They put a rocket on those titles, and then as soon as Bianca and Jade lost them again, they crashed back down to earth. And now you have Liv and Raquel losing and winning the titles in a 24-hour span, and now Liv's fucking off to make a movie somewhere. So now those titles aren't even going to be on TV. Nothing about this makes sense.
Let me ask the ladies this: what's something that you want to see different for the women's division on the main roster? Like something that needs to change for you?
They need to make me care about that IC title. Like, I genuinely forgot that the IC title existed when WrestleMania came around. I need to see. I don't know if I need to see some of the NXT girls go ahead and start transitioning to the main roster. I don't know. They need to do something, because other than the top of the tops, our Rhea, our Bianca, Naomi, all of them, I forget about the women. And I hate that. Like, I have to zone in when I'm watching, like, okay, I have this girl right here, this girl right here, this girl right here. Like, I need to care about it. I need better story.
I agree. I think they need to have. I like the Jade Naomi feud because it was a women's feud that didn't have a title involved. We need more of that.
Yep.
Like, it's so many other women just sitting and catering. I remember Maxine. At one point, the crowd was 100% behind her, and then that just stopped. And she was getting better in the ring. They have talent there, but they just don't do anything with them. So I would agree. I just want to care about the rest of the division outside of the top players, and get rid of the tag titles, because the WWE never cared about those.
No
It's
point in
obvious.
even having those anymore. Yeah. It's a lack, to me, it's just a lack of creativity. And it makes it feel like, do y'all even care about these performers? Because, like, when it comes to somebody like Chelsea, okay, I see some creativity there. Y'all see that the fans are responding to her. Y'all are doing some different things with her. When it comes to Naomi, I see that there's some creativity there, but it feels like a lot of times so many people on the roster are an afterthought. It's like Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe's a perfect example of three people that they kind of just threw together, and we're just hoping they would have chemistry. And when that didn't work, they didn't have anything next in line for them. And it was like, well, do something with them to make us like them. Do something with them to make us want to see them. I don't know. Like, it just feels like they have a lot of interesting characters they could use, but then they just don't know what to do with them to get the fans to care about them and want to see them more. And then now it's just, okay, we'll just rely on Becky Lynch then. Or we'll just rely on Rhea. We'll just put Rhea back in that title scene, even though it really makes no sense because she just lost to EO how many times? We'll just throw her back in there. It's like, so do y'all care about anybody else besides them?
And they're lucky that match ended up being as good as it was, because I completely agree. The story made no sense for Rhea just to be inserted in like she was.
It's like, we'll put effort into Rhea Ripley. We'll put effort into Becky Lynch. Why are y'all afraid to? Why don't y'all trust these other women? You put the title on Lyra, so obviously you had to have some trust in her to make her the first IC champion. Have a little bit more trust in her by giving her some interesting things to do. I don't feel like they've ever given her anything interesting to do to make us like her.
You know what would have done wonders for the women's division? I think it's one simple booking decision, but I think it would have done absolute wonders, is to have kept the U.S. title on Chelsea and then put the women's tag team titles on the Secret Hervis, and then have those three out in the ring all wearing the belts. Because if you have a dominant faction that you can then push to the top of the card, that's going to get attention on all of the belts. But no, they go the complete opposite direction and put the title on someone who doesn't get reactions. It blows my mind, the stupidity by which it's like all of these ladies said it beautifully. When the stories don't make sense, there's nothing for us to care about. And the stories there's no connecting fibers. It's just thing one happens, then thing two happens, then thing three happens, and there's nothing connecting them. There's no story for us to follow along to. I
would have loved to see Zelina win that title maybe 3 months later. Let Chelsea have a longer reign with that title, and then maybe in August SummerSlam or something like that. We could have seen that title defended at a major pay-per-view, and then we could have seen Zelina win maybe after you actually build something between Zelina and Chelsea. There was never really anything built between them.
Yeah.
She even would have gotten a
Wasn't
reaction
good
at
anyways,
Mania.
Zelina came to SmackDown, and then okay, she's champion now.
Ugh.
It was never. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
With the influx of NXT girls post WrestleMania on Raw, and like the reports or whatever, not to get too behind the scenes of Raw being focused in the women's division. Let's see what they got. You know, I'm a little optimistic on that side, on the Red Brand side of things for the women. I think they'd be all right. I just honestly, I'd put the IC belt on Becky and let her star power make that, and let's see where we go with that. Get things where they need to go, and just kind of roll the ball.
I'm down with that, but you have to have a plan afterwards. Because
I
they
was
don't have
gonna
a plan.
say, yeah,
They
I'm
didn't have
not a
plan
Becky
after
girl.
Bianca and Jade. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my only thing. Like Becky can definitely help elevate that title, but after she loses it, that's my like what's gonna happen after that. You know what I mean? Like it'll be cool in that moment, but it's like you have to have a nice, good plan to help execute afterwards. So when Becky puts somebody over, that person can move up. You don't want that person to stay neutral right here. They need to move up, you know, on the card. So I don't know if they can make that happen. Like there's obviously certain people. There are going to be certain people that we know are going to be in the main event scene. Rhea Ripley's going to be there. Bianca Belair is going to be there. Io is going to be there, I believe now. Charlotte Flair, you know, the Tiffany Strattons. Those are the ones they value the most based off either crowd reaction or they just have the it factor for them, like the look. You know, there's somebody that they're like, yeah, these are people that we can establish as our main eventers. I think Jade's going to be there eventually because I think she has the look that they want. She may not have the crowd reaction and her in-ring may be improving still, but she has the look, you know what I mean? Like she has that it factor for them that I think they're looking for. When it comes to others that are talented, you know, you got like Kyrie Sane there, you got Chelsea Green, you got others who are talented, but those are the people that may just have a certain ceiling for WWE, unless somehow they can get like the Becky Lynch role where Becky was never supposed to be this, but then the crowd reaction got so popular for her and they got so behind her, they had no choice but to make her a star, kind of, you know what I mean? Because it was like when they turned her against Charlotte, she was never supposed to be that popular. She was supposed to be the bad guy, you know what I mean? She's supposed to be the heel, and then she became so beloved. Next thing you know, she's main event in WrestleMania, and then they stuck with her momentum after that, you know. So if somebody can get that type of momentum, that's different, but they need to find a structure. What makes NXT work, even when Triple H was in charge of NXT, when NXT has established stars, they always are able to build up stars very good from the bottom up if they want to do that, and then put them in the main event scene like a Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. Like these guys started off as tag team guys, and then they propelled them to the main event scene. And when it comes to the women's division, they're good at giving women layers of different stories, whether it be presenting them with stories with championships or without championships. And even if, you know, there are certain women that aren't going to be in the main event scene, at least you know their ceiling and they're still important to the product. So you can still care enough about them. Like, okay, I care about Tatum Paxley, but she's featured on TV like every week. And, you know, she may not be the champion, but I care about her stories. I care about what she does. I care about her character aspect. So I just feel like they have to figure out a balance and a ceiling. Okay, what is that noise? You got playing in the back, bro.
Mo come in starting a dance party.
And you know what? I'll give them credit because I think that they are going in a good direction with the whole the Secret Harvest thing with like now Piper having that match against Zelina and like, oh, if she wins, she'll get a chance at the US title. That's the kind of stuff that I just kind of want to see more from them. Is like create those kind of like inner conflicts between the characters. Remember that these are characters that we're supposed to buy are real people. So that way, what does happen if Piper becomes US champion? How is that going to affect Piper and Chelsea's? Because, you know, she's supposed to be helping Chelsea get the title back. Or what if now Alba Fire decides she wants to be US champion? What if all three of them all want to go for that US title? Because obviously Chelsea wants it back. Piper might decide she wants it. Alba might decide she wants it. Stuff like that is the kind of stuff that I feel like is missing a little bit. And if they go in the direction with that, which seems like they are, that, like I said, that's something I'll definitely give them credit for.
I would like that.
Seems like I would love that. That'd be awesome.
I would care.
Okay. Exactly. That's the kind of stuff that I think that's missing is like those conflicts rather than just this person versus this person. But why? Why should I care?
Yeah.
Just to point out that Alba Fire is only in the Secret Harvest because her legit tag partner got released. So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there. Another legit tag team that they
And that-
split in half.
That's so
And
I
Unholy, I thought Unholy Union was great too.
I don't get
that
it.
was
Yeah.
another release
were.
that, yeah.
So do you got hold on to go into before I get to the next question? Do you feel like it's more of a Triple H bad decision or more of a TKO thing? Like more TKO in control,
TKO.
and Triple H only has certain aspects that he can control at the end of the day?
It's a budget thing, probably. You
Bro,
get
I feel
this
like
number.
I don't know
I
who
feel-
does what, so all I can say is it just seems like creative is maybe button heads, and whoever's in charge, everybody's not coming together in a way that's coming up with interesting stuff. Some people are getting interesting stuff. I think the way that they've moved with Naomi, I love that. They're doing some real cool stuff with her, but it's just every superstar is not being looked at, or not enough superstars are being looked at as important to the company and important to have stories.
I feel like we need to look at. So I've noticed this recently. Like when we look at WWE, when Triple H first got control and Vince retired the first time, right? The feeling from then in terms of how the product is and all that feels very different. Back then, it felt like Triple H was literally doing whatever he really wanted to do. Like it felt like nobody was in his ear. Nobody was telling him to do this. Nobody was telling him to do that. Then Vince came back, and then the shift started. We saw how Raw after Mania 39 was, and then TKO came in, and it feels even more controlled than it was back then. So I don't know. WWE feels very different.
Yeah, it feels. Oh, man, I think it's kind of a 50-50 balance, it seems like. I think Triple H has ideas of what he wants to do, but then TKO also has ideas of what they like too. So they kind of got to mix together and kind of try to make it work. And some things work. Some things are actually really good, but then there are other things too. Like it could be better, But I think that's kind of professional wrestling. Like there's always going to be things you think could be better, things that you like, and it's just a kind of part of the nature. This question is for everybody here, though. Who is the one wrestler? We're talking just currently right now. So just currently right now, people who are active. Doesn't matter what promotion they're in. It depends on what you watch, whether it's AEW, TNA, WWE, the Indies, NXT, whatever. Who is one wrestler that you are fully always locked in on, somebody that doesn't matter what they do, like you're always invested into what they're doing, and then who's another wrestler that you just generally don't care about what they do, like you just can't get into it, whether it's their character, their booking, whatever. It's just somebody that it doesn't matter what they do, you just cannot fully get into it. So it's a double question. So somebody that you were just fully always invested in, no matter what they do, they could do whatever. You're always going to like what they do or watch what they do, and somebody that you just can't really like I just can't really get into that person. I don't know what it is, but there's something about them. It could be men, women. It doesn't matter what company either.
For me, I'm a John Cena girl. He can do whatever he wants, and I will watch it faithfully. Love him so much. He raised me. And one that I just can't get into. I'm not a Becky girl. I respect her, but I'm not a Becky girl. I'm not.
So you just don't like a lot of. Is it her style or just her gimmick?
I think it's the gimmick. I don't know. I could go on a whole rant, but I don't know. It's something about her that I just can't get with. Respect her though. She does her thing. Obviously, she's in the main roster for a reason, but I just can't get with the man.
Okay. Haven, what about you? You probably gonna say Pac. Say Pac. Somebody's gonna tell me.
No, I'm leaving the bias out of it. If we go on AEW, I'm gonna say Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay, Tony Storm, those three. I'm always locked in. Their matches are always crazy to me. In AEW, I don't really care about Mark Briscoe, but his matches are still good. But I just never cared about any storyline he had going on. In WWE, Bianca, I'm locked in for sure. Someone I don't care about, LA Knight. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people like him. I just don't. Never got it. Don't care for it.
Okay.
It's hard for me to say somebody who I just don't like ever, because to me, unless you just have no talent whatsoever, there's going to be a way to get me interested. You can always change somebody's character and make them interesting, but I will second Jack and say Becky. I just never understood it. Maybe her character just doesn't appeal to me, and it's just that. But I feel like out of every, like I know once people get to a certain level of stardom, they can kind of ride off their audience and their fan base and their name. But I feel like with Becky, that's almost all there is. And I feel like it's just she's Becky Lynch, and you're just supposed to like her because she's Becky Lynch, and that's it. And I'm just like, okay, what else? So yeah, I have to second Becky Lynch as somebody who, and I won't say I could never ever get interested in her. It's just so far it has not worked for me. Somebody who I'm always locked into. I'm gonna say so far I've liked everything that they've been doing with Tiffany. I've liked the way that she's cashed in. She's really captured my attention since NXT. And she's sometimes when they bring people from NXT up to the main roster, like I think with Lyra and Raquel, for example, I like them better in NXT. They kind of lost some of their stamina for me though when they got to the main roster. I don't think Tiffany's lost any. I think Tiffany is just up, and she just keeps going up. So for me, Tiffany, they've definitely kept me engaged with her. And then as far as AEW goes, I would say MJF is definitely somebody. I know some people say that they feel like he's lost his aura. I can't agree with that. I'm always entertained when he's on TV. I think he still has so much potential. There's so many great things they could do with him. And then I would also shout out Harley Cameron in AEW. That's somebody who just has unlimited talent, and she's so funny. She's so good at so many things. Once she really gets better in the ring, I think she's got just the sky's the limit for her. Yeah.
Okay. Ryan, what about you?
All right, for me, probably Punk. I can ride with Punk forever. I was still missing him, and then when he came back, I've been with him ever since. And probably dislike. I don't know how this is going to go over, but probably Bailey. I don't know. I just never got that connection with Bailey.
Oh, come on, bro.
I know it was going to go over nice, but I don't know. It's just never been there with me for Bailey. And AEW side of things, MJF all day, every day for sure. He just drawn to him. He was indies near me all day, so I kind of have that level of connection with him too. And then this connection, I don't know. I've never really been a Moxley guy, so even as Ambrose before that, whatever. So those are probably my two from those two companies, likes and maybe dislikes or disconnects, however you want to put it. I respect Bailey though, just never not connected to her.
Mo?
WWE was someone that I like will always care about. Roman, always gonna care what he's doing. Been a fan since 2013. I'm sticking with him. Someone I don't care for. I'm with you, Bailey, in 2025. I don't like. There was this uproar where that she was left off the WrestleMania card. I shrugged my shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, she's already a legend. It's not like people were acting like this was some up and comer that just got left off the card. She's peaked, in my opinion. I haven't cared about her since she won that title. So, AEW side, Tony Storm. I've been in and out on AEW recently, but anything Tony Storm does, I'm gonna watch. Somebody I cannot get into, John Moxley in 2025. The Death Riders is literally the reason I don't watch AEW right now. I've literally been like, until he loses that damn belt, I'm not watching the shit.
That's
For
extreme.
me, I'll say
I can't stand the Death Riders.
I mean, they lost the trios titles. If that makes you feel better, it's going in that direction.
I'm gonna need to see that belt out of that briefcase before.
it might not even be in there. It could be a plastic title for all we know.
It's a
Oh my, freaking lunchbox, bro.
Rubber championship, man. I don't know where they're going to do that for. I don't know if they wait on Darby Allin or what's going on right now. So
They better not be.
That seems like they might be.
at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it kind of maybe seems like it. For me, somebody that I'm always locked in with, if we're gonna split up the companies, I would definitely say Roman Reigns for WWE. I mean, I've always liked Roman, but ever since the Tribal Chief stuff, for me, there hasn't been anything he done that I genuinely did not care about or wanted to see or watch. Like, I don't care who he was fighting, like, or what storyline he was in. I don't care how long he held the championship. I don't care that he didn't show up all the time. When he was there, I had to know what he was doing. I was fully locked into the story. And for AEW, for me, it would be Kenny Omega. I've always been a Kenny Omega person since New Japan, so there's not going to be much that he does that I'm not going to want to see or genuinely care about for me. And I throw Toni Storm in there as well. Ever since her character arc and aspect, like she generally has intrigued me a lot for the women's division. For WWE, I ain't gonna lie, I don't care nothing about Finn Balor no more. I don't care what he's doing, bro. Finn Balor, bro. Finn Balor, and it's whatever for me. They ruined his aura a lot for me, bro. I genuinely do not care about his push.
about him.
Even if he genuinely was to get a push, I don't think I would care at this stage anymore. Like he was so up here, and they put him so down here. Once he lost the edge in the cell, yeah, it's raps. Man, go ahead and just get him off my TV. I don't need to see him anymore. Like the way he lost the edge like that, and it was the demon. Yeah, I'm over it. I don't need to see it no more. Especially
real marks on his back, bro. He's cooked. He's done. Just pack it up.
Bro, he not even good enough to be on the grill anymore, bro. You got to put him like in the oven. He got to be in the microwave at this point, bro. He
a microwave pizza. Oh my!
Like he's so cooked. It's bad because he's really talented and he's really good, but it's like there's nothing that I genuinely just don't care about when he's on my television anymore. Like there's just nothing that they've done to make me fully care about anything that he does anymore.
That's fair.
For AEW, yeah, it'd be the Death Riders. I'm not gonna lie, I just don't like that shit right now.
Shit ass, bro.
I don't dislike the people in it. Like Moxley is cool. Cesaro's or Claudio's always been cool to me. Like I don't dislike the individuals in it, but it's just I don't know, the storyline just it's not moving me right now. Maybe when they lose and they expand it, then it'd be different. But if I had to give a different answer, probably Austin. No, scratch that. Fucking Jack Perry. Yeah, nothing that he does. Nothing that he does has really interests me. Even the scapegoat stuff, like it was better than what he was doing before. Like it moved him up a little bit, but still wasn't something for me where I was like, I guess like it's cool. He's improving, but it hasn't been something that really has made me, I guess, care more about him, if that makes sense to that extent. So, but there's some y'all gave some interesting answers. Becky Lynch, somebody said Becky Lynch, Bailey, some interesting answers. But we all, at the end of the day, we all have our favorites and people that we like, people that we don't like. Who are some people that are on the upcoming that you think people should pay attention to more? Like people that are on the rise that you feel like are going to be major people that you feel like people should pay attention to now, opposed to when they get to that level.
For me, I'm excited to see what Melo is going to do next. I like him and
You like
Miz
the stuff with the
together.
Miz?
Huh?
You like
I do like him with Miz. I'm a Miz girl.
works.
I actually just went on a rant about the Miz the other day, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Melo.
What kind of rant? Is it a good rant or a bad rant?
I said I'm sick of Miz being a jobber. Get somebody else to do it. I did not like that match with what's his name, McAllister. I did not like it.
Alistair Black.
Somebody else.
McAllister is crazy.
Whatever his name
Kevin
is.
McAllister, bro.
I was over it. I did a long rant. Get somebody else to be another jobber. Like he's a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Like get somebody else to do it. But yeah. So I do like them together. I like Melo and Miz together. So I'm excited to see what Melo,
So you think Melo's gonna be somebody that's gonna eventually move up here? Like he's out there now, but
I can see him being a United States champion one day. I think he would wear it well.
he would look
I wouldn't want him to have it before like Montez Ford, but the question. I would say Melo.
Melo don't miss. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Julia from NXT. I think she's supposed to move up to Monday Night Raw soon. So I liked her when she was in Stardom, and I feel like in NXT they didn't even really let her showcase what she could do. So maybe she gets to do that on the main roster. AEW, I'm going Fletcher, Takeshita. Those are the people I really like as far as like younger people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody said I don't know who it was. I saw it on Twitter, but the main reason I think Julia is coming up so fast is because somebody said that Julia is more of a Triple H guy and Stephanie's more of a Shawn Michaels like person, like which I can see that aspect because I think when Julia first came around, I think she was like presented or Triple H was the one that wanted to bring her in, and then Stephanie was brought in by Shawn Michaels. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like it seems like it's just more a cup of tea too. And plus, you see how Triple H treats EO and all that stuff too. And Oscar when he was in NXT, Kyrie, so I think he loves that Japanese type style.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he definitely has a history with them too, right? So
yeah.
for sure.
Minx, what about you?
Yeah, I would say Stephanie Vicaire, Julia, and Lash Legend. I think all of them, when the time's right, don't have to force it, but when the time's right, I think they could all do great on the main roster. I think everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people are already kind of feeling them, liking what they're doing in NXT. I would say the same for Ethan Page. He's probably my favorite male to watch in NXT. I think he's got a lot of natural, some people just got that natural promo ability in them, and I think he definitely has that natural character, charisma there. So I definitely think Ethan Page is one. I'd say in AEW, even though I already consider them one of the best tag teams ever, I really like what they're doing with FTR right now. Like that they put them with the guy Stokely Hathaway. He's been a great manager for them. Really added something to their heel turn. Yeah, that's so far a great heel turn. That they've been doing some pretty cool stuff with ever since then. So definitely good to see that they can still do stuff with that tag team, because sometimes by now they would have lost their steam by now. A lot of people don't have that longevity in them. So I'm glad to see that FTR is showing that they might have a lot of longevity going forward.
Okay, Ryan.
I'm gonna reframe the question a little bit and be like, buy low stock. Like, someone's stock that's kind of low that has a high upside, and I'd be buying low stock on Austin Theory. I think his stock is probably bottomed. I think he has a plethora of good matches in the WWE already. He's just been kind of put on that back burner and in this breakup angle for about 19 months, it seems like. So I feel like they're just letting that kind of be. And once they kind of go with him, I think they'll position him to kind of be all right. So not as an up and comer, but like as a buy stock low would be Austin Theory. And then from the women's side, I don't know. There's something with Maxine that is connecting. I don't know if she's any good or anything, but I could see something within her with them doing something there with her. So again, buy low, and maybe she could one day be US IC champion. That's just kind of a middling one. And then AEW, I'll double stamp Fletcher for sure.
Okay.
I could second Maxine too. I was very impressed with that promo, that last promo that she gave.
That's something to her, right?
Yeah. I was like, okay, I didn't know she had it in her. That's cool. She has a little bit of that. If she works on it a little bit more, she's got that natural gift of gab. A little bit.
Me personally, I feel like Obafemi. I think that's an obvious pick, but I feel like he's somebody you can bring on the main roster tomorrow. And if he beat Jey Uso, I wouldn't even bat an eyelash. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
Crazy.
So I think he has a bright future. So what?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how he just propelled Trick and took that spot of the top NXT.
Yeah.
I think eventually, I can see Oba and Braun being a WrestleMania main event at some point in the future, like some years from now. Like that's a WrestleMania main event that I can see happening. Up and comers, I don't know if this guy is really gonna be in the main event scene, but I'm really big on Javon Evans. I like him a lot. I like what he does in NXT. I like his personality. I like his swag. I think he's what WWE wanted Ricochet to be. He just got more personality in WWE, if that makes sense. Ricochet didn't have the personality in the WWE that I guess they were looking for. I think Javon's promos got to improve a little more, but he got personality, and he does insane shit, in the ring. So, and he's mad young too. So,
quick question: you think he's too skinny for that upper tier role?
That's why I said I don't know if he's gonna be somebody that's gonna be up here. But he's somebody that I definitely could see, being
where Mello could and should be.
If he gets the nice crowd reaction, I could see the crowd getting really, really behind him just based off what he does, and if he has the right stories behind it. And for the women, there's a lot of good answers. I'm gonna give a different answer. I'm really big on Soruka. I like her a lot. She's somebody that I'm very much looking forward to. Jada Parker is somebody that I think has a bright future as well. I think she has crazy personality, but So Ruka is somebody that I'm looking at as like she can do things I don't think a lot of people can do in that women's division. You know what I mean? Like I feel like she's somebody that they really hopefully will invest into for the future. For AEW, I'll say Kyle Fletcher as well. I like him a lot. I think he's somebody that could be really big for him. If they're going to head him in that direction, he's somebody that I could definitely see, you know. Laptop keeps on. He said he's somebody that definitely could see propelling up further if they're going to place him in that position. So, one more question before we head off here for everybody. Kind of a two-part question. I'll go for the first one. Who's, just in your opinion, you don't have to really explain too much if you don't have to, but it's just everybody's personal opinion. Just strictly for the WWE, who's the WWE GOAT to you? Like the number one. That's the greatest of all time for you. Everybody's gonna have a GOAT for different reasons, but for you, who would be the GOAT for you?
My GOAT is John Cena. Straight like
I kind of figured you would say that.
I'm going Roman.
John Cena's not a bad answer. Oh, Roman's the GOAT for you?
Yeah.
Like number one.
He got me back into wrestling in 2015. Like he's the reason why I started watching wrestling again. So.
Okay. So you said 2015. So this was like.
I liked him when nobody else did. Like it was rough.
Oh, okay. So
it was rough.
Big dog. But so for you, he's like, if you had to say the greatest of all time, like you would put Roman Reigns up there. Like he's number one for you.
Yeah, I mean, look at everything he's done. I know you got like your Rocks, your Stone Colds, but like Roman is it for me.
Okay. That's not okay. What about you, Minx?
I'm going Jericho. I know everybody ain't gonna agree with me on that, but that's my answer. That's my all-time favorite. I'm sticking to it. Standing on that.
Jericho. I stand with that. I love him.
I'm saying that I genuinely believe, and it's not just because he's my favorite. I genuinely believe he is the most complete, well-rounded wrestler of all time. He's always been great in the ring, always been great on the mic, has gotten popular enough to get fans outside of wrestling to come into wrestling. He's gone viral. I think he doesn't get enough credit for all the stuff that he does, and that's my all-time favorite. The man's full of talent, and he's an awesome person. I've met him 5 times, and every time I've met him, he's been a complete sweetheart.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Ryan, who about you, man? What do you got?
My favorite, he could pass as a GOAT too for some aspects, would be Shawn. As a kid, I was just drawn to him. And even growing up with him too, just his comeback, I loved and adored. So, and just watching him turn his life around from like a personal aspect, it's pretty cool as well. And all the stuff he's doing in NXT. But if I was to like look at it and be like, this dude's the GOAT, it's Stone Cold. Stone Cold's the GOAT. I think looking back, I don't know if anyone really dislikes Stone Cold. And I think that just that simple statement goes a long way for being the GOAT, in my opinion, right? So I know his reign wasn't super long, but it was super hot, and he definitely warrants the GOAT, in my opinion.
I certainly know some people that don't like Austin, but their reasoning has never made much sense to me. So I would agree with you.
Yeah.
When I ask them why, they give the oddest reasons to me. I just didn't think his character was that great. Well, that's subjective.
Everyone else about it.
Austin was cool. I was always more of a Rock guy, especially in the Attitude Era. The Rock was always more appealing to me. But Austin, I mean, his peak wasn't long, but I mean, it's so impactful even in that time frame. Yeah, I mean, that short peak that he had was so impactful. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that. So there's some interesting answers there. Roman, Jericho. I was not expecting those answers.
I wasn't ready for Jericho.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting those. But those are valid answers.
Jericho, you already know I can argue for him all day. Somebody in the comments just said he had 3 peaks. Bro comes back, and then every time he's come back, he gets back on top every time.
Hey man, in every high school football game I played, I had a Jericho-holic T-shirt underneath it. So
there you go.
It is what it is.
No, that's not a crazy answer. For me, I always went back and forth between Undertaker and John Cena. Those were always like 1A, 1B for me, like going back and forth. But after the 17th world title reign, and when you're looking at the guys who were the face of the company and the longevity of it, and you talk about the matches, the classic matches, the feuds, I'd have to say Cena, man, for me. Like, especially doing what he did in the good and bad eras, like for him to be the guy with the type of character that he had for so long and not switching up, even though he's a heel now, but not changing at least one time in that time frame and still being the most relevant and the biggest star in the company. I don't know if that could ever be done again, especially during those PG eras, like when 2010, 2011 was really bad. You know, like when the product was like not good. And I get John Cena was a part of the reason why some people didn't like wrestling, but he was also a major reason why a lot of people did like wrestling too. So I mean, I don't know if that could ever be.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if that could ever be done again. You know, with the type of gimmick that he had for so long. You know, it's going to be hard to duplicate that again for me. So to go to, I've seen a lot of different answers in a question. Who is there a legend that you feel like doesn't belong like in that strategy? Like doesn't belong on the Rushmore? Like he's a legend, but like I think people overrate him a little bit. Like I wouldn't put him like on the Mount Rushmore per se.
Goldberg.
Goldberg. Do people put him on the Rushmore?
Oh,
That's so fast.
You love him. People be loving Goldberg.
Yeah, I mean Goldberg. I gotta say Goldberg's on the Mount Rushmore. That's crazy.
Some people
Well,
do.
who's on the mountain first? So I know
It
that.
depends on who you put on there. It depends on who you think who's on there. But like, is there somebody that you feel like is a legend but shouldn't like? I wouldn't put that person over.
I have heard people argue for Goldberg. Yeah, I've heard people say that because his popularity was so insane back then, and he
maybe
was so
WCW.
hyped.
Yeah, I mean WCW.
Well, yeah, that's what they're going by. They feel like he is a legend, and they do put him on there for that reason.
Yeah, WCW Mount Rushmore. That's
No,
debatable.
they put them on their personal Mount Rushmore because they feel like his popularity warrants it.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna do all that.
For me personally, I ain't gonna do no whole rant on it, but for me personally, I think it's The Rock.
A lot of people feel that way. So I mean that's not crazy to say. I don't have The Rock on my Mount Rushmore per se, but I know I've seen a lot of people say The Rock, like why he's.
I respect what he did, but like, yeah.
It's funny because last time I was on, we had this big Triple H discussion, but I don't think Triple H is on anyone's Mount Rushmore. I think he's on the Mount Rushmore of very good. I don't think he's on the Mount Rushmore of great.
Okay.
Let's see. I'd have to kind of think about it, really.
If Triple H is your answer, that's
yeah, it's probably my answer.
Okay.
For me, it's Brock Lesnar. I will say there's definitely been times where he's entertained me. There's moments I can think of that he's made me laugh. There's matches I can say that he's been in that I thought were good matches, but I feel like he's always just been kind of a one-trick pony to me. And I don't feel like he really has enough going for him other than that's a big strong dude who can throw people around. It's cool to see him throw Tiny Rey Mysterio around, sure, but
he's an attraction. More so than the attraction.
That perfect way to say it. I would say that he's lacking a lot of other.
He's a weird balance. Like his good is really good, but his bad is also really bad too, though. Like,
and I would say without Paul Heyman, what could you even do with them? You can't even get Brock Lesnar across.
I don't know, Cowboy Brock was pretty fire. I will say.
Cowboy Brock was okay. It was cool.
No, and like I said, there's definitely been moments where I think his character work's been funny and he's been good, but I just don't see him as like a top tier top star to me. Popularity, sure, but
me, right?
Yeah.
I do agree with Ric Flair. Now, if we're talking WWE, I never understood why people put Ric Flair on the WWE Mount Rushmore. Like if we're putting him on the wrestling Mount Rushmore, that's different. But like his best years were never in the WWE. His best years were always WCW or NWA. You know what I mean? Like his peak was never in the WWE. So there are some people who do put him on.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah, there are some people who do put him on the WWE Mount Rushmore, but for me, it's like, bro, he's not a WWE Mount Rushmore guy. He's maybe a all of wrestling Mount Rushmore guy, but we're talking just in the WWE though. Like there's other people that have had way better careers than him in the WWE per se. So those some interesting. You want to stick with Goldberg as your answer?
I'm sticking with Goldberg. I see too many people defending him, saying he's the GOAT. So I'm sticking with it.
It really irritates you, doesn't it?
It does a lot.
She's not lying though. I definitely.
What's your grips against Goldberg, man? What you got against Billy?
I don't care for him.
We've been through this. We've been through this. You know.
What do you got against Billy Gold, man? He ain't doing nothing, man.
He can't wrestle. He never tried to learn. That's my issue. If you decided to try to learn, they put him in a position where most of us would have taken it, like, you know. But over all of these years, you didn't get better at all. You didn't, like, Trish Stratus came in as a fitness model and didn't learn the craft. Goldberg did not do that. It's like he bought into his own hype and then was just like, whatever. and I don't like that.
So you don't
Take it
feel like
seriously.
you don't feel like I think he takes it too serious. Actually, I think he's the opposite. I think it's based off the stories that I've heard about his character. I think he take it way too serious sometimes. Like about it's like him tapping into like his character and where he felt like he needed to go. Like I think he take it a little too serious. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever heard the story. You guys ever seen the segment where he was punching the limousine window with his arm, like his forearm, and he almost cut an artery like in his arm. Like he did that because I don't know, he felt like his character was like
he's not very bright.
Yeah,
That's not a
that's not a smart thing to do though, bro. He could have died, bro. Like relax.
That's not a good thing to do. He gave himself a concussion because he had butted the door during his entrance. He's making a lot of dumb decisions.
The only thing about Goldberg is his vibe is Goldberg, and there's no flexibility outside of that, really. It works for that, but
it worked for its time when they were doing the squash match stuff, like the streak. But once the streak ended, then it was like, what's next? So like but for him, he was lucky enough where his popularity and streak was able to kind of propel him as a legend, I guess you could say, among the fans that, even though it hurt him in ring wise, afterwards, his legacy was kind of already established, if that makes sense for a lot of people. So it kind of kept him kind of neutral. But I mean, the in-ring work, I'm not gonna lie, there aren't too many Goldberg matches that I would go back and watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like there weren't too many.
33,
but
really, right?
The reason I liked Goldberg was not really because of his matches, though. I like his presentation, like his entrance, his character aspect. That's why I liked Goldberg. I mean, that's why I would never put him on the Mount Rushmore, because he's not a total package. But like,
right,
I never watched Goldberg and was like, damn, I can't wait for that Goldberg match. I just like the presentation of Goldberg. Same with like, I guess for like Bret Hart, to an example. Like when I watch Bret Hart, I watch the matches. Like I'm not gonna go back and watch too many Bret Hart promos or like many Bret Hart segments, but I'll watch a Bret Hart match. You know what I mean? Like I want to watch him wrestle. So some people don't have that mixture where they can do both, where you can go back and watch the promos and the match. Some people aren't able to do both sides, but I get that aspect. Now, me personally, I ain't never heard nobody put him on the Mount Rushmore. So I mean, I don't know where you've seen that from, but I haven't seen that.
She not lying. Goldberg definitely has his defenders. I've heard the argument.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah, I'm sure he does. I haven't seen it. I've not seen it, but I'm not saying nothing out there. I'm sure they probably I'm sure they probably exist.
Well, there's a lot of people that hold popularity as like the most important thing, period. There's a lot of wrestling fans that are like that they are like, whoever has made the biggest draw and has made the most money, they're automatically shot to the top. And me personally, I don't agree with that. I think you got to have, I think skills matter just as much.
Yeah, popularity is going to play a factor, but it's going to be more of that.
Get away it, but yeah, it ain't more.
Like popularity can solidify you, I guess, if you're looking like Goldberg. Yeah, but there's going to be more of that critique. You're going to get critiqued for in the end, you know what I mean, than just popularity. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be certain things that you're going to have to prove, that you can do along the way. So for that aspect, like Stone Cold was popular, but he could also wrestle. And he can have matches. You know what I mean? So
and promo,
you can talk, you can do
save lives with his promos and his humor.
Yeah, that goes a long way. So last question I want to ask: what is, I don't want to say one match because I feel like there's more matches. Well, okay, just give me your top five. I guess top five matches, best matches you've ever seen for you. It could be, and it don't got to be. It could be anything. Like if you have 5 matches, like if you have 5 matches, you're probably gonna put people on to like you gotta watch these 5 matches. Like these are the 5 matches that you need to see.
Okay, I'll be quick. Jeff and Matt Hardy, I quit match. Batista, John Cena, I quit match. HBK and Undertaker, WrestleMania 25.
3 solid choices.
I guess John and The Rock's second match, whatever.
The second one or the first one?
Second. I'll go second. Where John won. Second.
Results here.
What the last one would be?
That's a good one in the chat.
Those are the 4 I always go back to. I guess CM Punk and John, Money in the Bank, whatever.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
They're about to hate me. They're about to hate me. I'm heavy into the actual wrestling, so I gotta go Swerve versus Danielson at All In. I think that match was phenomenal. Gotta go Pac versus Ospreay because Pac is my guy. Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania.
Perfect.
Tony Storm, Mariah May. I think it was their second match. So it was an actual match. Fifth, I might give it to Omega and Okada. Probably their first one. I like their first match the best.
Okay.
In New Japan.
Okay.
I'm gonna just put out the most recent ones that I've enjoyed, like just over like just since 2025. I'm gonna say Will Ospreay and Fletcher in the cage. I'm gonna say Tony and Mariah's match at Revolution. I'm gonna say KO and Sammy. That hardcore match. I'm gonna say the TLC that we just got on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. And then those are just I'm just giving out my most recent ones that I've been impressed by. Yeah. And then I'll throw on my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite match, Jericho versus Benoit at the Royal Rumble 2001.
Okay. Ryan, what about you?
All right, I'm gonna get old. I'm old. Sorry. So pre-Hogan, Slaughter, and I know, right? You said that people should see. So Slaughter and Patterson boot camp match, 84. MSG. I know. No one's gonna see it. No one's gonna know. I'm old. So then after that, Tully, Magnum, I Quit, 85, Starcade, and then 3 more. So let's go 90s. 90s. I might skip the 90s. All right, let's go 2001. Austin, Triple H versus Jericho and Benoit from Raw. That's an all-time match. Under the radar matches, let's think here. Punk and Cena, Money in the Bank. I'm going to steal yours. You know, it's not talked about. It's top company match all time, in my opinion. And then let's go Austin, Hart, WrestleMania 13. If you haven't seen it, you know, it's the first immortal moment for a reason. It's all time. So, were those 5?
Yeah, those are 5. Okay. I would say for me to throw out different ones, I'm going to say different matches for different reasons. Some maybe just better in-ring quality. Some maybe better stories. I'm going to say end of an era Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Triple H at WrestleMania. That's one of the best storytelling matches I've ever seen with the build and the match. Sasha versus Bayley, Takeover Brooklyn. I still think that's the greatest WWE women's match of all time. I'm going to say... I want to throw out some different answers that you guys haven't thrown out there yet.
Oh yeah, HBK, Taker, Bad Blood. That's a good one in the chat.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
I'm going to say. Actually, I'm going to steal one of somebody's answer. I'm going to say Swerve versus Bryan Danielson at All In. That was one of the best storytelling matches I've seen too. I personally think that was AEW's best match last year. Some people had Ospreay and Danielson, but that to me was the best match they had last year to me. I'll throw that one out there. Kenny Omega versus Okada, but I'm going to say Dominion 2018. I think that was their best match. That match was like an hour long, but it was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. So I'll throw that one out there. And then to go TNA, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles. That's one of the greatest matches you'll ever watch. If you really want to watch like wrestling, that's one of the greatest matches you'll ever watch. You know, Unbreakable 2005. That's like, I don't want to say peak TNA, but that's the rise of like, oh, TNA is really good.
Oh, can I throw out another slept on one that I never hear mentioned? Jericho, Angle, and Benoit at WrestleMania 2000. That's a good match. And another recent one that was just great was on the TNA pay-per-view, the Ali versus Santana match. That shit
was crazy.
Yeah,
that shit was.
I heard about that one.
Crazy.
If you haven't seen Ali versus Santana yet, that was a great match.
The Ultimate X match was fire too. I did like the Ultimate X match.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was really good. But Ali versus Santana, that was really, really dope. Cody versus Dustin is a good one too. AEW, I still think it's at the top 5 AEW match for me. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes in the beginning of AEW's early stages. That was really, really good. So those are some very, very good answers, interesting answers. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for guys coming on. We'll go ahead and end off the stream. Appreciate you guys for coming through. Shout out to the people of the original pod who weren't here today. But appreciate you for coming through. Make sure you guys subscribe to the pod. I will be at Backlash next week. So when we do the recap, my recap might be a little bit different since I'll be there in person and everything. I'll be making some content and all that stuff and everything. So my recap might be a little bit different when we head back here next week. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, and thank you guys for coming through, man. Love to have you guys back on sometime in the future. Ryan, appreciate you for coming on again as always.
Thank you.
Let me see. We got to end it off right. In case you guys don't know, on the pod we are heavily Homo sapiens over here, so we're gonna end it off as we always did.
Wow.
If you ain't living life as an Homo sapien, then you're not living life the right way. I'm sorry. It's not. It's
I
the only
hope he
way
comes
to live.
back.
It's the only way.